West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
In Lakewood, it is 6 a.m. in the Mile High City, and you've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe.
Hey,
and
morning.
Blake Olson. Hey. Blake is hanging out with us. We're all at the IHOP in Lakewood, about to get some pancakes.
Yes.
This is going to be wonderful. They're bringing food out
we eat
every
like
hour.
Kings when we do these live broadcasts. It's just stack after stack.
So nice.
And then they get into lunch, and then we waddle out of here about 100 pounds heavier.
Geez, yeah. I don't even eat lunch on this day. I don't even. There's not even a reason.
Jeff,
to.
you've never waddled any.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, my friend.
He weighs like 89 pounds.
I know. It's ridiculous.
By the way, how about the sunset? Or
sunrise.
It feels like a sunset.
Yeah, you've been driving forever. Yeah, coming on down here with us. But yeah, it's a gorgeous sunset. We'd love to see you out here at IHOP this morning. It's basically Wadsworth and Alameda. It's the IHOP in the Belmar Shopping Center, right across the street from the Belmar Shopping Center. Easy to find, a big sign right there on Wadsworth. Come and see us. It's on the west side of the street. And we've got a $7.10 very special KNUS breakfast for you this morning. Eggs, hash browns, bacon, and then the world-famous pancakes. All for $7.10. Plus, you can hang out with us. We'll take pictures. We'll goof around with you. Yeah, this should be a lot of fun. Hope to see you today.
People are starting to come on in, so we got some space here. Enjoy a great breakfast. Hang out with us, and let's talk about the news. We've got so much to talk about today. Letitia James learning the meaning of the phrase, live by the sword, die by the sword.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Yeah. But then again... It's going to be.
Tell us how you really feel, Bill.
Well, the thing is, it's going to be very hard to make the argument from the Trump DOJ, in my mind. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
it's going to be very hard to make the argument that she needs to be charged.
Well, and in many ways, it's just kind of tying everybody up and getting them to have to hire lawyers and do everything they did to Donald Trump. Yeah. So. Like I said, live by the sword, die by the sword. So we got some breaking news coming with Letitia James. You're not going to want to miss this conversation. But now is time for Blake Olson.
We're going to do the open?
There it is.
I didn't know if we were supposed to.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
That sounds official now. 45 and partly cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 76 today. Man, it is beautiful out there right now as the sun is rising. It is rising. The 7-10 5-day forecast coming up. Our top story, a shooting last night at Lowry Sports Complex has left one person injured. Not a lot of information on this one. It happened near the ice rink and the Matchbuff High School baseball field there, if you've ever been to Lowry Sports Complex, but one person injured. Absolutely pitiful last night. The Democrats rolled out the corrupt Joe. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know what he was saying, and neither did anyone who was watching. I don't know. You guys have any sound on that?
No, I mean, Biden? Goodness, I don't want to subject our people to this. So, okay, we had all moved on from Joe Biden until last night, and he does this Social Security speech. And it was classic, but it was a total reminder why we got rid of this guy.
Yes.
Right. So it rambles on, and then he did his quintessential whisper and then yell, all about dignity. He kept going back. I watched all 27 minutes of this. Dignity, Scranton. We're living the greatest country in the nation. World, and it went back to all that. But I mean, he did the guys, dignity. Dignity! It just bounced all around. Oh,
were there a lot? How many people were there?
Maybe like 250 in that room.
Really?
But then he would do the Anyway. You remember how he used to do that?
Oh, I remember.
He would start a sentence in a particular direction and then just go, anyway.
Oh, that's frightening.
And just pivot back.
Why did they get, whatever.
Well, and here, I'm going to get on my little soapbox here. He does this whole speech bashing the president about Social Security. Do you know the one thing he didn't talk about in his entire speech about Social Security? Math about Social Security. We're going to run out of funds for Social Security in 2035. Did he address that? No, it was all little old ladies. And he even got to the point of millions of people are going to be cut off from Social Security if Donald Trump gets his way. Millions of people are
just relying on the low-informed voter. Unbelievable.
God, it was horrible.
That
Good riddance, Joe Biden.
So I don't have any sound this morning, but if you want to put it on there just for laughs. Wow, that was unbelievable. Well, the greasy watermelon head on a stick. Remember, that's what DJT said about Adam Schiff. He should be in prison for the biggest hoax ever. And added again, he says, we're in a constitutional crisis because DJT won't bring the illegal gang member, the gangster from El Salvador, who is truly a gangbanger, back from the greatest prison ever in El Salvador, where he belongs. People are just going nuts over this story. The media loves it.
And the wild thing is, like, what did they expect Trump to do at this point? Put all this pressure in an effort to bring this guy back to America? Yeah. He wasn't supposed to be here in the first place. He's an illegal immigrant with a deportation order to El Salvador.
That's right. And
now, maybe you could argue, all right, we don't want him in the prison, but that's up to El Salvador to make that decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the Maryland Senator Van Halen, or Van Hollen, he says he's flying to El Salvador. I don't think he's taken off yet, but he's going to try to save him. And
is he going to go do the AOC thing and stand outside on the fence? And
I hope so. I really hope so. I want to see the video.
Well, I pointed this out in a video I did yesterday where I'm watching the media get really, really all worked up over the idea of process, right? It's due process. We didn't follow due process with this guy.
Right.
And I'm sitting there going, where was the concern about process when you had 10 million illegal immigrants crossing the border?
Sure, exactly.
It wasn't like, we really cared about the process that they, followed to become American citizens. No, you just allow them to walk across the border. Now we kick them back, and you're like, now we got to follow the process.
Well, and a similar story has taken place in Colorado Springs. A veteran, Fountain Fort Carson, went to Iraq, served his country, served our country. But, however, he's
hit his wife.
I think attempted murder.
Yeah,
he had an attempted murder charge, so that wipes everything out.
Right, time to go.
Yeah, so that thing's going to probably boil up today. You're going to see that.
Don't
story
worry, Jason Crow will be out there to. Help.
Absolutely. Hey, did you see Michael Bennett the other day? I missed that one. Did you see
when
him?
He announced?
Someone asked him about getting donations and $1 billion donations and that type of thing. I just saw it this morning. It was a couple days ago, but he could not give him a straight answer. Big surprise. Shocker there. In Aurora, police asking for help as they try to learn more about the skeletal remains of a 30-year-old black man who was 5'5", 140 pounds. They found the remains under an overpass that crosses Tollgate Creek. Now, it all started on April 1 after the police got a tip about a fight between several people. So when they go out there to the scene, the people tell them about these remains. So they find the remains. Wow. No one knows what happened, but they're looking. They're trying to get help from the public. He was wearing a leather bomber jacket and a fluorescent green hoodie. If you have any information, let the police in Aurora know. All right, the U.S. Sending one aircraft carrier to the Middle East, Arabian Sea, ahead of the second round of nuclear talks with Iran. Game show host Wink Martindale has passed away at the age of 91. Evidently, he was the first to interview Elvis on the radio, but I remember Wink Martindale. See him on TV. Billy and I remember him. I doubt Jeff.
Oh, yeah. No,
remembers
Jeff
when
won't
I was
remember him.
Wink Martindale. No, you weren't.
I think Elvis died even before I was born.
Oh, yeah.
When did he
Absolutely.
die? 70? I was 81.
Yeah, it was right before
77
you were
years,
born.
yeah.
So what was it, Mark? 77.
77.
That's right. I remember we were getting a Domino's pizza in the summertime, and it was being delivered, and we find out that Elvis was dead. That's how big it was. I remember exactly where I was.
Exactly where you
were.
were.
I was and what was
Now,
happening. And
Crowley, were you one of the cops that got a Cadillac from Elvis? No. Did you ever hear about that?
oh
in
yeah,
Denver?
from Peter.
Yeah, he bought.
Oh.
Yeah, he bought a whole bunch of Cadillacs. For,
I did. I heard that.
Denver PD.
I heard it from Peter.
5 or 6.
Wow.
Yeah. But Mark, you were one of them. Huh? Too young.
He was he was in elementary school. No, you really? What year was that?
In the Cadillac era.
Okay, in the Cadillac
Just
era.
after Cadillac.
Gotcha. Good stories. Okay, news brought to you by Lair Fireplace and Patio, Denver's premier source for everything fireplace, patio, and grills, locally owned and operated since 1954. Online at lairfireplacepatio.com. Nuggets tip off the first round of the NBA playoffs this Saturday. Warriors beat the Grizz last night in a playing game, in case you cared. Avalanche prepare for the first round Stanley Cup playoffs against the Stars. All right, we got applause there. Avs fans.
Avalanche
of
yeah.
course.
Kelly Michaels over there.
Kelly's applauding. He's a big hockey fan. Dodgers 6, Rockies 2, 44 in Parker, 43 in Arvada, 45 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue from the IHOP in Lakewood. Come on out. Blake Olson News Talks after the
Your 710 5-day forecast still going to be mild today. We'll have daytime sunshine with increasing clouds late afternoon and evening. Highs will be in the mid-70s. May have a small chance for a light shower later today along the foothills. Lows tonight in the upper 40s. Partly cloudy, brisk winds, upper 60s, low 70s Thursday. We're going to get afternoon and evening showers and a few thunderstorms. Rain will change to snow Thursday night and continue through the day Friday. Weather brought to you by Colorado's Best Roofing, reminding you to protect your home from the harsh Colorado weather. Schedule your free no-obligation roof inspection at roofingcolorado.com. Meteorologist Don Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. The restaurant's starting to fill in here. We got people coming in. It's great to see you all this morning. Thanks for joining us for the special live broadcast of the Jeff and Bill Show here from the IHOP in Lakewood. The pancakes are on the griddle and smelling great, and people are about to get some good food here. So we're going to get some served to us a little bit later. But you can come down and hang out. We've got some space here. Come spend some time, get a chance to meet the whole cast of characters we have here, and enjoy some good food. And yeah, boy, this is the second time I've met Blake.
Yeah, that's funny.
You guys are extremely attractive.
Both of you. Right.
We know Blake's asleep.
Especially this early. This is some breaking news. I was following this story, so we're going to pivot a little bit because there's some breaking news that is coming through. This pastor in South Africa, he was preaching a sermon when he was attacked and kidnapped. This is an American church planting pastor. So he's a missionary in South Africa, and he's starting churches there. And this guy kidnapped in the middle of a sermon and taken. U.S. Pastor Josh Sullivan rescued in South African shootout after being abducted during a sermon. 3 suspects are dead, says the police. An American pastor abducted by gunmen during his sermon at a South African church last week, the New York Post reporting, was rescued during a deadly high-stakes shootout, which left 3 suspects dead. Josh Sullivan, 45, was rescued by the Hawks, the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation. I guess that's a police organization within South Africa during the fatal shootout in the southeastern port city in South Africa. This took place just a few hours ago. 3 unidentified suspects were killed. Sullivan was found miraculously unharmed in a safe house. Police arrived at the safe house and discovered the 3 individuals inside a vehicle. The gunman attempted to flee and opened fire. Officials shot back, fatally wounded the trio. Sullivan was rescued from inside the vehicle. He was assessed by medical personnel and is said to be in excellent condition. The Tennessee native was preaching to his congregation of about 30 people when 4 armed men broke in and abducted him on April 10th. So, good news.
Yeah, very good news. Yeah, the thing I was reading is that the kidnappers actually knew where he was, who he was, referred to him by name. So it was very, very targeted. So, yeah, the question is why. That's what I can't figure out. I can't figure out why.
Well, they did submit a ransom note.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
So, money.
Yeah.
Speaking of yesterday's show.
Yeah.
Money.
Jeez. Oh, I'm glad they got him back, though.
Yeah. Yep. And for many of us that have either visited and done missionary work in Africa, I've done that, or sending people to Africa, it's good news that they got these guys, or got this pastor back. So praise God there. All right. Good. Speaking of Scripture, there's the old adage in the good word, Bill, you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Sometimes,
do you remember
yes.
that?
Yep.
That was the message of Jesus to Peter when Peter pulled out the sword to cut off the ear and try. Speaking of Easter week, it's kind of all happening at this point.
Yes, it is.
This is from Fox News. Trump administration refers New York Attorney General Letitia James for possible prosecution over allegations of mortgage fraud. What? New York Attorney General Letitia James, if you remember, the center point of a lot of the prosecution against Donald Trump has been hit with shocking allegations by the Trump administration accusing her of mortgage fraud. Apparently, she was falsifying some of the forms she filled out earlier in her life, listing her father as her husband and her place of residence as Virginia when she was being elected in New York. So all of this is going to be investigated now, and she could face some problems.
Yeah, she could. And if she did falsify the records, she should face charges for it because it would be fraud. It would be illegal for her to misrepresent who she is or what she was taking out a loan on, or to misrepresent the fact that the apartment was 3 times the size. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong guy. That's the wrong case. That's the wrong person who was committing fraud and getting loans. So again, that's the idea, is if we felt that Donald Trump should have been prosecuted for his fraudulent maneuvers as far as securing loans, then this should be prosecuted as well. If you felt that it was overreach to go after Trump because it was so long ago and who was harmed, then what about here? I'm just looking for consistency. I am perfectly happy going after Donald Trump, and I'm perfectly happy going after Letitia James. But if you moaned and complained, I was about to say a naughty word this early in the morning, and I can't, especially when I hop. But if you,
we don't have a dump button.
No, we don't, and that's the thing I can't say. So I've got to protect myself. I got to have a better filter today. So if you were moaning, complaining that Donald Trump was brought up on the charges and related to the loans, if you said there was no person harmed by it, then you better check yourself if you're mad about Letitia James. You better question yourself because it's the harm. I mean, she took it out. She evidently is paying the mortgage, everything else. We don't have any fraud that she defaulted on the mortgage, and neither did Donald Trump. So if you felt that it was overreach, that so long ago this happened with Trump, this is when she was much younger. So is this overreach now? I don't think so. I would go after her. but I was also the person that took a lot of crap for saying we go after Trump. So that's it. I just want to say, you know.
Bill, there could be a third way here.
Yeah, what is that?
All right, so here's the third way. You could look at Donald Trump and go, spending all those resources to go after Donald Trump over, you know, quote unquote loan falsification efforts, whatever that was a waste of resources. Okay. You could also look at Letitia James and go, all right, spending a whole bunch of resources coming from the Department of Justice, probably not the best thing to do. But third way, what Letitia James was motivated by was not honest statements on a mortgage document or loan document. It was political retribution against her opponent. Okay? So how do you get the left to stop doing that? Well, maybe they need to face a little political retribution and having to go hire attorneys and sit in a cold courtroom in the middle of summer like Donald Trump did. And maybe that'll finally end this type of lawfare. So let's go after Letitia James in order to finally end all this political prosecution that's taking place out
So
there.
two wrongs make a right.
Sometimes mutually assured destruction stops this.
But I'm not sure. But is this mutually assured destruction? So that's what I'm not. That's what I don't see that. And I look at the idea of when you talk about, well, we've got to make sure they never do this again. We've got law firms in D.C. that are cutting deals with the Trump administration to provide millions and millions of dollars of pro bono work because of political persecution. Because you represented people that I dislike, so I'm going to yank documents that says you can't get access and can't have classified information, and you can't have access to certain federal buildings. That's political retribution. Is that what we want now? Because the assumption is that Letitia James was going after Trump necessarily for political retribution. Yeah. And the same thing with Alvin Bragg. But, again, do we want the consistency? If you think that Donald Trump should not have been gone after that many years ago and that it was political prosecution, then you're now advocating for political prosecution on Letitia James. So, again, don't get mad then when someone else comes back and goes, well, we got to now balance the scales. Because as long as you're trying to continually balance the scales, you'll never get there.
What is that old line that an eye for an eye eventually leads pretty much everyone to be blind?
Everyone's blind. Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. And that's the thing is, I am perfectly happy going after her. But if you complained and yelled about going after Donald Trump over the fraud cases and his loans and said no one was harmed, if you ever uttered the statement, no one was harmed in Donald Trump's fraud over the loans, then you can't go after her here.
Bill, if she had never gone after Donald Trump on the mortgage or loan issue, I don't think she'd be facing this issue. So is this just tit for tat? I mean, this is just desserts. If she hadn't prosecuted Donald Trump in the way she did, I don't think she'd be facing this prosecution.
Well, I think that would be absolutely awful, because if she lied on these documents, she should face prosecution. Yeah, I'm consistent on this. Yes, you do this. Yes, just like with Donald Trump. You do this. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and I don't care the fact that, and if it is that she's brought up on charges simply because of what she had done and gone after Donald Trump, that's 10 times worse. That is 10 times worse. We'll go after the people just because they're breaking the law, not because we're mad at them going after somebody else. Stop making this some sort of retribution.
The Democrats won after Donald Trump in the first place.
I disagree.
Because they care so much about loan documents.
The issue though is that again. The irony of the people that said they were the party of law and order saying, but we can't go after this guy. We can go after law and order, but we can't go after this guy. That's the issue that I've got there, is at least just be consistent with it. I understand it's a fait accompli for many conservatives that this was all lawfare against Donald Trump, but that allows you intellectually to dismiss any of the charges. You don't have to deal with any of the charges once you assume it's lawfare.
The same people that are willing to give probation to child rapists in the state of Colorado, right? They won't change that loophole in the law.
Letitia James can't do that.
Right. I mean as an individual person, yes, but the same team is willing to let actual violent people out, meanwhile prosecute the hell out of their political opponents. And in this case, I'm pointing out that if Letitia James hadn't done that, she wouldn't be getting the same thing back. To me, it seems like horrible. Just desserts.
No, I think it's horrible. I think it's absolutely atrocious that you would say that someone is allowed to break the law unless they try to go after someone politically that I agree with. Now, you'd be okay. You'd be okay with her breaking the law as long as she didn't go after Trump. So as long as so we're going to give everybody a pass on the idea of fraud and things like this.
I'm not saying we're going to give them a pass, but my goodness, they put a lot of resources into prosecuting Donald Trump while allowing the actual violent criminals to walk free on cashless bail, those types of things. To me, it's purely politically motivated, and I'm just pointing out.
Well, see, I got to think about.
Sword, you die by the sword.
But again, you keep going back to violent crimes. Neither of these crimes alleged here, the one against Trump, are violent.
The AG.
I know, but
So
neither one is necessarily violent, and so I think that you are trying to equate things that are not necessarily applicable, because we can talk about how they deal with violent crime, but this is white collar crime, and I've got a real moan and complain and bug up my over how we go after white collar crime. I don't think we go after white collar crime. I think that we have in this country an idea that ripping off one or two people is prosecutable, but if you rip off enough, we'll let you go. If you defraud enough people, we will let you go. If it's a large enough defraud that maybe your big giant company will go under, we will bail you out. We will protect you from your dumbassery. If you just do enough of it and it's large enough, we will protect you, and we will make sure you're not held liable for it.
Who your political friends are.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got an issue with the white collar fraud. I think we should prosecute, again, violent criminals very, very hard, but we also should prosecute white-collar criminals very hard. I don't think that there necessarily is the idea that when we say, well, we're not going after some of the violent criminals, then we can't go after some of the white-collar criminals. I don't see us going after enough of the white-collar criminals as it is. So I'd like to see more of those, because those guys don't seem to be slowing down at all. They seem to be just happy and you know, fat as a pig in slop, going after as much as they can. And we're talking about changing some of the rules that got us into the financial issues in 2008. So for me, Letitia James, if she did this and it was illegal, prosecute her for it, just like Donald Trump. Same thing. I'm going to be consistent on this one. Yeah.
Well, Billy and I kicking it off already with a little spicy debate, and there's not even any hot sauce around here yet. We'll get some of that from the IHOP folks.
Yes, we will.
Billy and I having fun down here, along with Blake Olson, live at the IHOP in Belmar, Lakewood, right off of Wadsworth. Come down, hang out with us, and tell us who you think is right. Me, Bill, Blake. You're invited to be a part of the conversation. By the way, phone lines are open at 303-696-1971. That's 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720 819-5115, 720-819-5115. You know who gets justice in the real courtrooms, Bill?
Oh, yes, I do.
Dan Caplis,
good friend
Dan
of the show.
Caplis Law. I've known Dan for well over a decade. Pro-life, pro-faith, pro-America, pro-family. Great guy.
Dan's the thing, when his letterhead comes across in the email or comes through in any email, they pay attention. If you want the insurance company to sit up sharp, back straight, and pay attention to what your lawyer is saying, it should say Dan Caplis on the paper.
Yep. That is exactly right. Dan has spent 40 years of his life helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Listen to how good he is in the courtroom. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Dan Caplis Law is so trusted that he's the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call. Here's the phone number, 303-770-5551. That's 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. All right, we're going to go out and meet some folks and have some fun conversations with some of the folks attending here. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Doing a live broadcast. Mike's here. What's up, Mike?
Hey.
Mike brought his shirt from the old Rush Limbaugh 710 KNUS days.
No. Okay, we're going to have
You
to
gotta go
talk.
check that out. We got friends
Ugh.
swinging by. We got Ward here. Good to see Ward this morning.
I've got that
Pancake.
shirt.
Yeah.
I have that shirt, Mark. I have that. Oh, my God. I found it cleaning out, from Dan's Bake Sale. Oh, my God, yes. Okay, sorry. He and I are going to have to powwow later. Okay, sorry about
I had
that.
to pull my head.
I apologize.
Billy got really excited there.
Dude, that is the
I've
OG.
never seen you get that excited.
That is the OG shirt. That is fantastic. Oh, my God, Mike, we're going to have to talk. Okay, sorry. Back to the regularly
right.
scheduled part of the program.
We are doing a live broadcast. We got more people coming in here still. We got some space if you want to come hang out with us. We are at the IHOP off of Wadsworth, and we are at Belmar here in Lakewood. So come by,
Wadsworth,
hang
Alameda.
out, grab some pancakes. They got a special $7.10 deal with some pancakes, eggs, and bacon. Oh, it looks great. Smiles all around. How's the food so far? Good? All right, thumbs up. People like the food here, which is great. All right, so last time we did our live broadcast, it kind of became the Real Housewives of the Republican Party because Britta Horn was literally sitting right next to me when she was served with a lawsuit from Darcy Shanning, and that was the battle between the chairwomen of the Republican Party. Britta ended up winning. She's the new chairwoman. But kind of part of all of that, a little bit, was Nancy Pelosi. Nancy was the chairwoman of the Jefferson County Republicans, and she swung by, came by to say hi.
Hello.
Good morning, Nancy. Thanks for joining
Yes,
us
good
here
morning.
today.
Absolutely.
So, Nancy, I know you probably can't say too much about the lawsuit, but I think you were a part of it. Can you give us a little bit of an update on the battle within the Colorado Republican Party?
Well, I could say that I'm probably the person who started this all.
Oh, yeah. So you want to get about this close to the mic, and then we'll be able to hear
Okay.
you real good.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and thank you. You're in my hometown here in Lakewood. I'm born and raised here in Lakewood, and I'm happy to be here. So, yes, it's still going on. They won't
And
stop.
Remind folks what the lawsuit was about.
Well, I'm not sure at this point.
That is perfect.
There's so many going on right now. There are two going on right now in terms of that. There's an appeal going on with the appeals court that a court hearing where we won, and Dave Williams has appealed that. And then there's another one where they are suing us directly, trying to get money back for the court.
What they call the coup attempt.
Right, the coup attempt that we
Yeah.
have done, which I'm not sure what the coup attempt is because there's no coup, but they seem to, say that there is a coup here. So
that marches on. We'll continue to watch that. But you are taking now a different role, different tact within Republican Party politics now. right?
Yes.
So talk about that.
I am so excited about this new role. For many, many, many years, I have been a trainer on my own dime, and I've traveled around the state to train parties, county parties or individuals in terms of different things. 3 years ago, I went around the state and I traveled to train about caucus and what caucus was all about. And I am very excited that Britta Horn, the new chairwoman, has appointed me as the chairman of the training committee for the state, and we're going to have an extensive training program with the state, and I'm fully supported with that, and we're going to train, I'm now a chair, what do I do type of thing, to going to PCPs. We're going into...
Those are precinct people.
Yeah, precinct people, and just doing what the state should have done many, many years ago. So, yeah.
Because winning elections is a lot of just grunt work, right?
Right.
It's phone calls, it's door knocking, and people that aren't raised in that, you kind of show up. You want to try to help win an election, but you don't know where to start. So the training being about equipping local folks to win local elections. Right?
Absolutely, and it's so imperative in terms of that. And we're very excited about it. I've got several people on board that's going to help me. Kathleen Chandler, several people are going to be part of this. It's not just me. Holly Horn. I'm going to get Heidi Ganal involved with all of this. So we've got lots of us that are going to help with this training program, and it's just imperative for us to go back, and we're going to win elections next year because we have to train people to be grassroots, get on the, knock on doors, do things that they need to do. We need to train candidates as well because we don't have that training program before of, how to be a candidate, what to do, how to raise money, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, to give folks a sense of how far back we are against the Democrats, so here's how the Democrats work here in Colorado. They have an entire operation called Emerge, okay? And literally, all you have to do is raise your hand and go, I'll run for office. And they go, okay, Nancy, come on over here. Here's who's going to fundraise for you. Here's who's going to knock doors for you. Here's who's going to make phone calls for you. We have the entire system set up. You just need to look at the camera and smile, and we'll get you elected. Meanwhile, Republicans, someone raises their hand to run for office, and Republicans are like, well, best of luck to you.
Right.
So we're trying to change that a little bit. Right?
Absolutely. We're going to change it with the Republican Party, and we're going to do that. It's part of kind of an Emerge program. Yeah. I don't have the official lingo in terms of what we're going to call it. Yeah. However, it's going to be just that, and I'm ready and ready.
So,
to
if
go.
people wanted to connect with you, they're listening to the show. What's the best way to connect with Nancy Palazzi in this Leaders Training Program?
Well, you can you can send my email. It's nancypalazzi@gmail.com. That's NancyPallozzi@gmail.com. And yes, please get in touch with if you want to be part of this program. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Well, that's great to hear. Glad you're stepping up to do that, and hopefully we can turn some things around. Nancy Palazzi, thanks for coming by
for letting me talk.
Hanging out with the Jeff and Bill show this morning.
I'm going to have some good breakfast here now.
And you got out of here without a lawsuit. At least,
hey, that doesn't happen on this show.
I'm looking at the door.
No paper served yet.
That's fantastic.
Nancy Palazzi, former chairwoman of the Jefferson County Republicans, swinging by to say hi to the Jeff and Bill show.
Oh, that is so
great.
That is really neat.
Thank you so much, John.
All right,
thank you.
I want to talk to you about our friends over at the Art of Granite. I've got to know Mitch Floria over there pretty well, and they're just up the road here.
Yes, they are.
Just up 6th Avenue.
Just up 6th Avenue in Golden, where he's got his warehouse. And basically, the coolest part that with Mitch is when you go in, you're dealing with him, but also you get to browse his wide selection of granite. So
it's a mall of granite.
Yeah, it's not the idea of going through and picking, the swatches and stuff like that. You're looking at the actual stone that is eventually going to be a part of your kitchen or bathroom. And so you get to pick it out. You don't sit there and pick out, you go to the other bigger places and stuff that are going to charge you a heck of a lot more because they have bigger advertising budgets. They've got to pay for a whole bunch of big signage. They've got to pay for big fancy box stores, stuff like that. You're going to end up and you're going to find samples. And then when it finally comes to your house, it's going to look different.
Yep.
Because that sample is not necessarily representative of the rest of the stone. It can be very, very different. So what you need to do is when you go and you talk to Mitch, you can pick the actual stone that you are going to be having in your house. So this is the color, this is the style, everything you need. It is handcrafted by Mitch himself, who is an absolute artist. So
an expert. He can turn granite, quartz, marble, and other materials into a true work of art right in your home. They also got superior service from single residential installations to large-scale projects. Mitch and his team's attention to detail unmatched. They will listen to you and get you what you need. Finally, great value. Mitch provides granite from his own warehouse in Denver West, just right off his 6th year. I drive by it all the time. As you head up to the mountains, you'll see it. It's literally a mall of granite, quartz, and marble options. No markup. You can get the most for your budget. Listen to this. This is a special deal. Mention KNUS and receive a bathroom countertop free when you purchase your fantastic new kitchen countertops. You can also get a kitchen or bathroom sink free when you purchase any countertop package. Schedule a consultation with Mitch and visit his beautiful showroom in Denver West, or call Mitch at 303 303-386-5919. That's 303-386-5919. Or you can visit his website at theartofgranite.com to start dreaming about your new countertops. That's theartofgranite.com. All right, political leaders coming by. And we've got good food all at a live broadcast here in Lakewood at the IHOP. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
right, we're having so much fun meeting people. Mike Jones just walked in. Mike was a defender of Jack Phillips, and then was part of some of the New Life stuff that happened.
It's amazing, guys.
We just got wild folks coming by. It's awesome.
He was, I remember 20 years ago, he was the first one to go into Jack Phillips's bakery. Yeah. And I feel like it was yesterday, and I remember hearing it on KNUS. It's amazing.
He defended Jack, testified and supported Jack. He's coming by. By the way, Jack Phillips's bakery is just down the road.
Oh, I love Jack Phillips. Yeah,
sure is.
Love his place.
All right, we're doing a live broadcast here at the IHOP in Belmar, in Lakewood, right off of Wadsworth. People are coming by to say hi, and it's starting to fill up, which is just fantastic. The pancakes are flowing. We got Matt Johnson coming up here in a second. Brave Church is going to be joining us as well, but Bill, we get to do a live version of You Choose the News.
Yes, and this time around, I remember to print my papers. That helps a lot. All righty. It is time for everybody's favorite fake radio news game show, You Choose the News. There's the music. All right, here we go. You know how this works. I have scoured the interwebs for mere moments, well, it was yesterday afternoon, and I pulled really dumb stories about us humans to give them even more ridiculous headlines so that we can play this fake radio news game show. Yes. Now, why do we do this? We are very irresponsible with our broadcast talent at this time of the morning because those in charge have no idea we are doing it. I'm going to have to apologize to Mark Crowley, who's in front of me right now, because he's not supposed to know about this. All righty. So here we go. Blake Olson is joining us live at IHOP in Belmar, along with Jeff Hunt. Here are our choices this morning, gentlemen. Headline number 1, do not delete. Headline number 2, definitely a cleaning. Headline number 3, getting personal. And headline number 4, you can't fix stupid. Mr. Hunt.
Let's start with definitely a cleaning.
Yes, definitely a cleaning. European tourists who toted home bottles of water from a holy well in Ethiopia are getting a, well, let's just call it maybe not a spiritual cleaning, but more of an intestinal cleaning. Oh. Yes, they were likely hoping for blessings and spiritual cleansing. Instead, they got a very powerful bacteria. The infections have occurred since February. People have reported taking independent trips to Ethiopia since January, and they are filling bottles of water through a spring that is supposed to give you blessings. But unfortunately, it also contains a really very bad version of cholera. It goes ahead. Yeah, it's really awful.
No fun.
This one is actually resistant to a number of antibiotics, so it's not good. In fact, testing of the pool that people have been dipping their water bottles into said, yeah, this thing's crawling with a bunch of this. Do not drink, do not touch, do not pass go, do not collect the $200. So yes, individuals going to Ethiopia,
some food,
came home and said, nummy.
What is this?
Oh my God, what is this we're bringing? Oh my gosh, okay, the food.
Some food.
Oh, what is that?
We got some tacos.
Oh, the tacos. Oh, anytime tacos. That is breakfast
made the news
tacos.
last time.
Yes, anytime tacos.
Clark and Channel 9.
Oh, we're going to eat those in a second.
Incredible.
Oh, my God. Look at that.
All right.
Blake
What's the
Olson.
next one? Blake
Olson, getting personal, can't fix stupid, or do not delete.
Can't fix stupid.
No, you can't fix stupid. Researchers say that a person's intelligence actually plays a bigger role in their computer proficiency than previously believed. So much so that practicing on the computer alone may not be enough to ensure that you can actually use the computer. A new study has found that as computers are getting more complex, our cognitive skills are diminishing, and we're too dumb to operate the computers, which explains a lot. Alrighty, and Jeff, your final choice.
Distracted by the food.
I know. No one's paying attention.
They like bring.
This is wonderful. Bring this over here. I got this. Ooh, look at that. Look at that.
You got the whipped cream.
Look at that. I took the whipped cream. I'm doing the finger thing. Yes. Alrighty. And Jeff Hunt, final choice this morning, sir. Getting personal or do not delete?
Anytime tacos.
Anytime. That's on what's here next to us.
Delete one.
All right, do not delete.
Do not delete.
Now, here's the crazy part. If you have recently downloaded Windows Update for 11, there is a mysterious empty folder that appears on your system drive. And Windows is saying, yeah, it's empty, but don't delete it. The issue is it's for some patch updates having to do with cybersecurity. Now, they did create that folder, but the problem is if you delete the folder because it looks useless, you don't get the cybersecurity patches and your system is going to be vulnerable. So they're telling you better go back and fix that empty folder that they didn't tell you how to install in the first place. Yeah, that's great though. But again, you delete the folder and like, yeah, you better replace the folder that we didn't tell you about, and you've got to go find it. How do you replace it? And you don't have any of the back, you can't tell it to pick up the stuff. You can't just create a blank folder on your desktop and make it work that way. So yeah, nice job. That's fantastic.
Good job, Hunter.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, so you've got to start eating. What are you looking at?
All right, so
You have all of the food.
Nana Nana Boo Boo, Kyle Clark does not get the Anytime Tacos.
No, he doesn't.
Talked about on
Look
his
at
show.
those.
We get them on our show.
Those are
Thanks to
fantastic.
Bobby here.
Oh yes,
bringing 'em out.
this is the oh
Thanks,
man.
man.
This is incredible.
This is awesome.
Okay, so what are you
is
starting
this?
with?
What is this over here?
That's the burrito.
Breakfast burrito with bacon and sausage.
Ooh. Okay, we like a second here,
All right,
guys. Okay, what are you starting
stuck
with?
your
Okay.
finger in
Yeah. Heck yeah. I was establishing dominance. I was choosing mine.
exactly right.
Yes, I have kids. I know how this works. You touch the food, it's your food.
It is your food.
Yes, exactly. That's how this
Man,
goes.
this looks
Okay, you got to
great.
try that Anytime Tacos. We're going out here. We got to try this.
Yeah,
Come on.
we do. I just
Hey, right
can't
now.
bite into anything
Yes,
right
you
now. I
can.
get some
And
dental
the
Don't.
issues.
plates
Yes, you
are
can.
hot, too.
Oh, this is
It's
amazing. Okay, here we go.
So
We're
I
eating.
gotta eat
Now we are down here at
beautiful.
IHOP in Belmar, Wadsworth, Alameda. Come and join us this morning. I have got the strawberry Belgian waffle thing.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. Oh wow, it's moist, flaky. I can't do that. I cannot make pancakes and waffles at home. These are fantastic. This is some. Oh man. How are your Anytime Tacos? Are they good for any
Too.
time?
Oh, they're
Fantastic.
nice
They
and
are good
thick.
for
Hey,
anytime.
and what's Blake doing down there? Not even trying his breakfast burrito. Hey, get in
I'm
on
gonna
this.
do it next
No.
hour. I'm gonna
No.
whatever's coming out next hour.
No.
It looks good. No, you're
trying to
gonna
get
eat
his
this
update
one,
on the
Billy.
news.
I'm gonna leave this one for you.
Oh,
These two.
I can hear the music.
yeah.
Man.
So I think
So we
it's
gotta
time
go.
for us to get to a break, but
Oh,
we'll
we are-
continue. Everybody's
This is
enjoying
so
their
good.
great food.
Oh,
Come
my
join
Lord.
us down here at the IHOP
got to
in
come here.
Lakewood. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
We are Denver's talk leader. This is News Talk 710 KNUS.
I got some hash browns stuck right about here. Pair of bear claws, 2 at a time, stuck right here.
Oh, dude, this
is the Jeff and Bill Show, doing a live broadcast from the IHOP in Lakewood, Colorado, in Belmar Shopping Center. Beautiful. The sun has risen. We've got folks here. We've got food. We've got.
I'm eating
you're
like a
eating
kid.
a cheesecake.
Yeah, New York cheesecake waffle. This is amazing. And I'm not even doing the syrup thing. I'm just like, because I can't.
You're just diving
I'm not even waiting for it. This thing is so good. I'm not even waiting for the syrup. That's how good this is.
All right, so come swing by. We got some open tables. You can come hang out with us here at the IHOP in Belmar. Blake Olson's here. We're meeting people, having fun. And just in a second, we're going to talk with a local pastor, Matt Johnson, Brave Church, as they're. Excuse me, I've got food.
Is that what happens when we eat on the air?
Yeah, exactly. We are going to talk about a rally that's taking place tomorrow at the Colorado State Capitol. Pastors getting together in opposition to this bill. You probably heard about it. House Bill 1312, Legal Protections for Transgender Individuals is the title of it. In reality, it's a giant constitutional problem and is disastrous, as you, as a parent, could get in trouble for quote-unquote dead naming your own child. Also, if you're a business and you misgender somebody, you're going to get the Jack Phillips treatment, drug before the Colorado Civil Rights Commission. So it's a giant problem, and it's been covered on Fox and all sorts of other national news outlets. So we're going to talk with the local pastors help leading the effort to stop this. You're not going to want to miss this conversation.
I've got a solution for this, for the hippie argument about the pancakes and waffles here at IHOP. I'm just saying that I've got this New York cheesecake style waffle here.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get mad at somebody when you're eating one of these. I'm just saying that in general, it has had a bunch of these around the table, and I don't think anybody can yell at each other when they're eating this. These are so good.
Yeah. Food brings people together.
I know. This is delicious.
All right, Blake, let's do the news with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
.46 and partly cloudy. The sun is up. Gorgeous Colorado morning in Lakewood at the IHOP. Come on out. The 7-10 5-day forecast is coming up. Our top story, the left pushed out the old man out onto the stage. Former President Joe Biden on the stage last night to attack 47. It could not have been worse. I don't think it was productive in their minds. He walked out there and the intro music played for at least 15 to 20 seconds. and he was talking.
It's a giant reminder of why we are so glad to move on from that chapter of American history.
Absolutely. So then this morning, DJT just posted on True Social. I wish I could do the imitation of Trump, but Sleepy Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States, has allowed millions and millions of criminals, many of them murderers, drug dealers, and people released from prisons and mental institutions from around the world to enter our country through its very dangerous and ill-conceived open border. Sorry, but it's my job to get these killers and thugs out of here. That's what I got elected to do, MAGA. So DJT up early this morning and putting his post out on Truth Social about Creepy Joe Biden.
I mean, it's just a giant reminder things have gotten so much better.
Yep.
Joe Biden gets up and he does his classic whisper and then yell. All about dignity. And it goes to Scranton. I mean, you could literally script these speeches over and over again.
Did you hear him where he started?
Dignity. Dignity! Dignity in America! I was born in Scranton, raised in Scranton. My dad.
Yes.
Anyway.
The most uncomfortable was where he said, did you see him say, in Scranton, I remember being a little boy, and I see the bus drive by
and the black people. He just starts talking about black people.
He said the coloreds.
Yeah, right. No, he did.
The colors.
That's what we called him back then. That's what we called him back then.
That's right. The colors. Yeah. I mean,
that's
I don't know what his point
was.
The
Democrats found to run our country. Thank you.
And they really upgraded with Kamala Khan. A former Fort Carson soldier facing deportation served our country in Iraq, but he's held in the ICE facility in Aurora. Jose Barcos, he just served 15 years for attempted murder. His family is confused and they don't understand what's going on, but the conviction from that attempted murder bars him from obtaining U.S. citizenship. Stay tuned to that one.
Is that enough due process to get rid of somebody attempted murder and jail service? Can we send them home now?
Man, that's a tough one. He was, he did go to Iraq two times. Better than this one. Let's see, everyone's trying to make this guy out to be an angel, the gangbanger from El Salvador, who's back in the prison in El Salvador.
No, only a Democrat would go, okay, the illegal immigrant from El Salvador that has been deported and a judge found connections to MS-13, only a Democrat would go, please bring him back to America, even though he's in the country that he's originally from.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Please use the resources in the way that the American
they're all saying it. All of them.
To bring this guy back.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So the judge said he's a flight risk and a danger to his community, but no, the commies want him back. In Brighton, heightened security measures for Brighton schools on Tuesday, and of course it all involved social media posts to a few schools. Police say the students in question are under parental supervision or police custody. They learned about the initial threats last week and worked with 27J schools following a threat to Overland Middle School, followed by the investigation. All right, the Nuggets getting ready for the playoffs coming up this weekend against the Clippers. The Dodgers over the Rockies 6-2, and the Avalanche preparing for the Stanley Cup playoffs versus the Stars. It's 44 in Castle Rock, 43 in Boulder, 46 in Denver, and it is hot here at the IHOP in Lakewood, Alameda, and Wadsworth as Jeff and Billy continue with their waffles, hash browns, and breakfast burritos. And I'm Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 5-day forecast still going to be mild today. We'll have daytime sunshine with increasing clouds late afternoon and evening. Highs will be in the mid-70s. May have a small chance for a light shower later today along the foothills. Lows tonight in the upper 40s. Partly cloudy, brisk winds, upper 60s, low 70s Thursday. We're going to get afternoon and evening showers and a few thunderstorms. Rain will change to snow Thursday night and continue through the day Friday. Weather brought to you by Colorado's Best Roofing, reminding you to protect your home from the harsh Colorado weather. Schedule your free no-obligation roof inspection at roofingcolorado.com. Meteorologist Don Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
All right, welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Billy and I are just we eat like kings when we do these live broadcasts. It's absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing.
Bobby just came by from IHOP and said, Your Majesties, would you like any more? And we're like, bring on the pancakes and waffles.
Those waffles
bacon.
are so good.
Dude, you just disappeared for the last 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was eating. I was stuffing my pie hole. This is free food, and it's warm, it's hot, it's delicious. And I've told you this. I can't make pancakes and waffles at home.
Yeah, I know.
And they do them right here, and it's light and fluffy. And I'm like, this is what they're supposed to taste like. This is wonderful. Oh, this is good. And so we're at the IHOP at Belmar. It's basically Wadsworth and Alameda. Come on over on the west side of the street, hanging out with a bunch of listeners, and we'll spend time with you this morning. Also, $7.10 special breakfast, eggs, hash browns. You get the bacon, and also you get the world famous pancakes for only $7.10. Best deal in town. Can't beat it. But Wadsworth and Alameda, we are here in Belmar, hanging out with you.
And we got a pastor that swung by, Matt Johnson. He's the pastor with Brave Church, very famous church here in Colorado, represents the Inglewood campus. But he's part of a coalition of pastors that are organizing a rally tomorrow at the Colorado State Capitol. That's April 17th from 1 p.m. to about 3 p.m. down there against this effort to, the bill's called the Legal Protections for Transgender Individuals. It's really anything but that. It creates this massive constitutional problem where schools, for instance, can't allow for gender-specific dress codes. If you're in a custody battle with your former spouse and you don't believe that your child should be transitioning, well, now they're going to give weight to the child, to the parent that believes that the child should transgender. And then if you're a business that misgenders somebody, well, now you can be brought before the Colorado Civil Rights Commission. So it creates a whole now new category of Jack Phillips-like prosecutions are going to take place. Pastor speaking out against that, and joining us live here is Matt Johnson with Brave Church. Good morning, Matt. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. It's a great time to be here.
Yeah, well, let's talk about what you guys are organizing tomorrow and why you're opposed to House Bill 1312, legal protections for transgender individuals.
Yeah, well, it's this is not a political issue. This is ultimately a human issue. This is a biblical issue. And this is a moral issue. Ultimately, it's a huge attack on God's created order. You can't get through the first chapter of Genesis without us seeing that God created men and women. In his image, he created them. There is not a spectrum of genders, and we could go into a ton of theology about it being a heresy and all this type of stuff, but ultimately, it's compelling the speech of Christians to be able to affirm a lie that is anti-biblical. So,
yeah, I mean, they're going to use the force of government to make you abide by this. But why isn't this just, like they said, legal protections for transgender individuals? Why shouldn't we respect transgender individuals?
Well, you know how these bills are usually titled, right? They're usually titled in the most rosy way that they can so that people just cursorily glance over the top of the bill and say, man, that sounds really good. That sounds pious. That sounds like the right thing for us to be affirming. And the reality is they fit a whole bunch of things in there that are not actually the case. And the truth is, the most loving thing that we can do for somebody who is living in a delusion, who is so confused about what's going on with who they are, is to remind them who created them and how he created them, and the fact that the love of Jesus is there and they need to repent and turn to him.
We're talking with Matt Johnson. Matt Johnson's with Brave Church. Now, what this strikes me as, and as somebody who did a lot of work on religious freedom stuff, particularly at the international level, was there was this kind of push that came from Muslim countries under the guise of respect for all religions. And we want you to respect people, and they became what are called anti-blasphemy laws. So we don't want you to say anything mean about somebody's religion, and we're going to drive these restrictive laws forward. And when the rubber hit the road, the biblical mandates to share the gospel, for instance, or to even say Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, became a violation of these types of laws because, well, now you're being mean to other people, that type of stuff. This type of forced coercive control where if you dead name somebody or you misgender somebody, we're now going to bring you before a government tribunal to punish you for that. Tell me why that's a problem for the state of Colorado, for pastors like yourself.
Well, ultimately, whenever you look at the laws, it points you to where your worship is as a country and who your God is as a country. And what this bill is attempting to do is supplant the God of the universe, the true God of the universe, for whatever this Gnostic version of LGBT God is. That's going to be a shifting move all over the place. Now, here's the problem in the churches is as we encounter more and more people that need the gospel in whatever stage of life they're in, if somebody has gone through some sort of gender dysphoria and they come to a church and we are trying to help them to be able to come to the truth of who they are as God created them, now we kind of have a dilemma on our hands. Now we have a dilemma about how we communicate that to them. And we also have a dilemma being, churches of various sizes. Is this a trap? Because that's a tactic of the left to be able to send people into certain areas that they know that they're going to be pushed back against, to bring a lawsuit against. So now it's a really tricky area of compelled speech, and it's tough to navigate. And ultimately what you're going to find is faithful pastors, just like Pastor Jeff over at Brave Church, who's amazing, and the coalition that I'm a part of that aren't going to abide by that, and there's going to be a huge, huge battle there.
Yeah. We're talking with Matt Johnson. Matt's a pastor with Brave Church. Now, you guys are hosting a rally about this bill, House Bill 251312. It's made national news. Fox covering it, puts a lot of restrictions on folks with regards to how they deal with the transgender community, that you could be brought up before government tribunals as a business for misgendering somebody, dead naming somebody. It's going to get involved with custody battles. It's going to require schools to essentially get rid of sex-based dress codes, all that stuff. You guys are organizing down at the Colorado State Capitol to deal with this. Tell us about the rally tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. So come down to the rally tomorrow. We're going to be starting with a prayer walk. Nothing good happens without prayer at the front end of things, and we need to be foundationally, as Christians, always in prayer, and especially in prayer about this topic at the moment. Prayer is a powerful, powerful tool, and so always be in prayer. We're going to start off with a prayer walk around the Capitol, as many people as we possibly can. We have a lot of people reaching out saying that there's groups that are going to be busing people in. There's people that are flying in from out of the state that are wanting to be here. There's a list of speakers that it's just incredible that we have. So we're going to do a prayer walk around the rally, and it's going to culminate at the west steps of the Capitol building with a press conference, which we'll use that term loosely because I don't know how much of the liberal press is going to show up there. But I'll tell you what it is it's a bunch of pastors, bunch of thought leaders, and a few of our state representatives that are going to be there that are speaking out against this. The main purpose of this is to show that the Christians in Colorado are more united than the left thinks. And now we're organizing, and now we're mobilizing, and to be honest, this is the least organized we will be ever again, moving forward in the future. And so it's a message to Christians of hope in the state, and it's a message to the politicians here that may want to run roughshod and try and pass things in the dark of night that are really against what we stand for as Christians, that we're on alert now, and we're going to do whatever we can to change this state for the good of Christian beliefs. We want to paint this state red with the blood of Jesus Christ.
Matt Johnson with Brave Church joining Jeff and Bill live. I've got a question. You talked earlier about helping the transgender individuals coming to the truth of who they are. Could the truth of who they are be transgender?
I would tell you that that's not biblical. God created male and female, and he created two genders at period, end of the story. That is throughout the entirety of Scripture, starting in Genesis 1. It's affirmed in the unity of marriage that's established later on in Genesis. Paul affirms what marriage is between man and woman, as does Jesus as the institution of what marriage is. And when we're talking about could they be transgender in their heart, what we're actually doing is saying this, is that the person is just a spirit or a soul that is wearing a flesh suit. And this flesh suit, if this is just a flesh suit that we inhabit and then we move on from this flesh suit and we're this ambiguous spirit, what it means is that we are actually two separate things, and the body is actually just something that we can do with what we want. Ultimately, what that means is that we are telling God that he made a mistake, and we can choose our own adventure here with the body that he gave us. Our gender is hardwired not just biologically into who we are, but God made our spirit and our soul in the gender that we are expressed as human beings as well.
But there's more than just the binary XXXY chromosome pairings. There are extra pairings, and God created those. So the idea is it is larger than just that binary male and female we typically think of. There are more possibilities that contained there, and those were created by God. So it can't necessarily be a mistake and can't be wrong, can it?
So what I would tell you is that God does not make mistakes. God is fully sovereign in all of his things and all of his ways and what he does. And when we're talking about the exceptions to the rules of things, what we're dealing with is a fallen world. A world where not just the nature of man...
I disagree, sir. I disagree because the exceptions prove the rule. And the system would have been set up by God. I mean, he's omniscient and he's omnipresent. He would have the ability to. And I understand the idea of the fallen world and there's the sin and everything else, but it still would be God's creation. And that person, you're assuming the person is wrong rather than assuming that God created them that way. I'm understanding, why do you come to that conclusion, not the conclusion that the individual is honoring who God made them as?
So what you're saying is that somebody should be able to transition themselves if they have some sort of an exception to what's going on. I guess
if God made them that way, yes.
So they should be able to transition themselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it happens in nature, so it would happen in humans, yes.
what example in nature?
Clownfish. That's the easiest one.
Clownfish?
Yeah, clownfish.
So
So the Finding Nemo, because like if you do a Finding Nemo sequel, Marlin would have to be a Maria. Because inside of clownfish systems, what happens is the largest fish in the environment is the female. All the rest of them are males. When that large female either leaves the environment or dies, one of the males genetically becomes female. You also, and there are other things we can say, cuttlefish. I mean, there's a series of animals that we can go through that do exhibit this type of behavior.
So we also have a moral. We also have a moral being that is us, that makes us unique as human beings. And when we're talking about exceptions, it doesn't mean to put them into a corner and browbeat them for whatever happens to be their genetics or whatever happens to be the exceptions that you're talking about. It means that we still need to encounter them with the love of Christ.
Yeah. And I would say
I
encountering
agree
them with the love
that.
of Christ would be the acceptance. Because, and what I'm hearing, though, and again, we have a shared faith, but what I'm hearing is that we must deny the existence of carbon and oxygen in the universe because helium and hydrogen are the most two dominant elements. We wouldn't do that, and that's what, but the least prevalent elements are the ones inside of homosexuality and the LGBTQ community. It would be the same thing, the same distribution.
No, I wouldn't say you deny that those exceptions exist. I say that what you do is you need to encounter them on a case-by-case basis.
But
just
you said
like
earlier
you
they
would
were
with
wrong.
I think that there's the vast majority of what happens with the transitioning is exactly wrong, because the vast majority of people are XXXY chromosomes, and the very low minority is going to be some sort of the fringe exception that you're talking about.
Yeah. And the fringe exception would also be the transgender because they are a fraction of a percent.
Right.
So it would hold true mathematically.
So what I would do is I would take that by a case-by-case basis, and we would still talk to them the same way we would talk to anybody else and give them the gospel of Jesus. That being said, this bill is not going to be protecting or helping any of that, and it's not going to be helping somebody who has decided that they're going to change stuff and then put people in front of a government tribunal in order to push them into something that they feel compelled not to do.
We're talking
That's
with
fair.
Matt Johnson. He's the pastor of Brave Church. And Bill, I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Do you think that that there should be the force of government behind, I mean, the idea of legal protections for transgender individuals, that's the title of the bill.
Yeah.
Should there be the force of government to compel churches to abide by someone's chosen gender?
Well, it depends on how you're going to say compel. I would be concerned about what the individual case is. No, I am not in favor of the government compelled speech, and I would allow churches to make that decision, just like I would with same-sex marriage. I would not compel any church to do a same-sex marriage because there's a civil way to do it and there's also a religious way, and they're totally different. And so I would not compel that. The other thing I got a problem in the bill is the idea of the misgendering someone inside of a place of business, because we've talked about it before. For me, that has to do with malice. If you're coming to it with a place of malice and you're doing this intentionally to hurt the other individual, then I've got an issue with that, because I don't like that behavior, just as it would be that way if you behave that way in business to anybody. If you were coming at somebody else with malice and trying to denigrate them in your place of business for whatever reason, I would have an issue with that. And so
to the point
of
the power of government, right? So, I mean, like, and you and I have talked about this. If I wore a MAGA hat into a restaurant and they said, "Get out of here. I don't want to serve you," should I be able to walk down to the Colorado Civil Rights Commission and go, they're judging me based upon my values and my beliefs. They don't want to serve me. Ergo, I want to bring civil rights action against them.
It's a little bit of a sticky wicket in that one, because one, it would have to be how the service was denied, what the process and procedure was, because you do have the right to refuse service to some individuals. You can choose not to serve them. So there is that will, but it's a matter of how was it executed. You can't come out and say, well, I'm not going to serve any Asian people in my restaurant. I'm not going to serve anybody of this ethnicity or anybody that is gay or anything else. Or I'm not going to serve any men. Mm-hmm. There's some things there that are some constraints. So it would depend upon that specific, as Mark is talking about, as Matt Johnson was talking about, the idea of taking it on a case-by-case basis. It would be a case-by-case basis. But I would default to allowing the business to decide who they do business with. Now, if the person with the MAGA hat is just, get out of here, I'm not going to serve you, and it's, if I take off the MAGA hat, will you serve me? Now we've come to a place. It's not necessarily the best for either side. The person running the business may not like the politics of the person. The person may not want to take off the hat, but we've come to an agreement, just like with Jack Phillips. Jack has decided not to make wedding cakes, but he will make same-sex cakes for other people that are same-sex customers. He will serve them.
Yeah.
He's not saying that a
compelled
same-sex
to
couple,
agree with the
I'm
message.
not going to serve you. I'm not barring you from the business. I'm just not going to make this particular product for you, which seems fair.
And I think in this
I think
case,
it's dumb. I think
to
I wish
Matt's
he didn't have to
point,
do
you're
that.
going to end up with test cases simply because that's who the left is. I mean, they went after Jack Phillips.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go out of your way to find his little bakery. In this case, you'll end up with people wanting to go after churches just to punish them.
And that's why, and even though our conversation here with Matt is that that we disagree on the fundamentals behind the bill, I will support you in this bill because I believe that it is misdirected. I believe the Democrats have far overreached what they're doing, and especially the example of the business. I think because they have not put malice in there, that's difficult because that can mean that in theory, if someone walks through the doorway of a business and is transgender and they are misgendered, they then possibly could bring that business up on charges. The person may not have even looked at them. They could have just been looking down at the computer screen and said, "Welcome to so-and-so, sir." They didn't know. They weren't doing it out of necessary anger. And so that's the problem that I have with it is, and so I would support you on your opposition to this bill. I think it is a bad bill because of how it's written.
Matt Johnson, Brave Church pastor with us. Matt, this is part of a larger breakdown in how our culture understands God, values, principles. You're a pastor. You're trying to speak in truth into the culture. Talk about that.
Yeah, so, I think that when we evaluate Colorado and look at Colorado as a whole, we see something that we've probably been asleep at the wheel at for a very, very long time. And we look around saying, who's going to take the responsibility to stand up and do something about what is happening in this culture? And I agree with you, Bill, like a massive overstep is actually what boils the frog, and the frog is boiled at this point. And here we are activated. And the coalition of pastors that we were talking about, that I'm a part of, it's across denominations. It's across different types of Christian belief systems. It's just pastors who, between small and medium churches, saw what was going on, got really upset with it, and said, you know what? If it's going to be, it's up to me, and we can just do some things to be able to fight against this. If we continue to be asleep at the wheel, we'll wake up in a place that's entirely dystopian, even far beyond what we can imagine today.
Well, what I've noticed out of the left over years of being down at the state capitol and watching this is that they're at a point where they get incredibly frustrated and want to use the power of law in order to force people to be quiet that they find offensive.
Yeah.
Right. Like, look, I disagree with Mormons. I disagree with Catholics. I disagree with the transgender community. I disagree with the people on worldview issues all the time. I think they're fundamentally wrong about some issues.
Yeah.
And to the transgender community, the point of the church is to try to speak some truth into it from our perspective, and they get so offended that they now want to use the power of government to shut you down from even offending. That's what dead naming is. It's a form of offense.
But you also have to remember, too, that we are living in a time right now where, I don't know if you've ever read this book. It's called Life in Negative World. The author is Aaron Wrenn. It's a phenomenal book, and he frames it like this. There's negative, neutral, and positive world, and he's talking from a Christian perspective. Yeah. At one point or another, we lived in positive world, where it was a positive social to be a Christian. Yeah, then it shifted sometime in the early 2000s, maybe in the 90s, to it's neutral. Now you're just kind of one of a plurality. And reality is today we live in a negative world that is actually actively hostile to Christianity and to Christians in particular. You can be a Muslim, you can be a Hindu, you can be a transgender, and you can wear that so proudly across any sort of spectrum of people in any setting that you want. But as soon as you start claiming that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, the life, all of a sudden you're becoming a social pariah. We as Christians have to remember where the fight is right now and what time it is, what temperature it is, and what we can do about it. And what we can do about it is exactly the type of action that we're going to be taking tomorrow, starting at 1 o'clock at the Capitol, going until about 3 or 3:30. And it's just going to be a show of love, show of unity of the church across the state of Colorado, and say that we are here. We have a presence.
That's Matt Johnson, pastor of Brave Church. If you want to attend a church this bold, this strong, this on the nose, fighting for truth in the culture, check out Brave Church. They're doing great work. Jeff Schwarzentraub, a great religious leader here in the community as well. Matt, thanks for taking time. And guys, good debate.
Thank you. That was really good, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah,
that was really cool, man.
All right. We are live at the IHOP in Lakewood. Swing by, hang out with us. We've also got phone lines open. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Matt, you got a round of applause. Good job.
Yeah,
Join
nice job.
the pastors down tomorrow at the Colorado State Capitol. I'll be there as well, 1 o'clock for prayer, and then a speech and press conference will go to about 3. That's April 17th, Colorado State Capitol. Fight for our kids and for our future. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
All right, we're back. Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. I'm eating this delicious cheesecake waffle.
You're too fervent. That ain't no fair.
Woo! That's because you got it.
I know.
You didn't share, dude.
It was so good. I know. I touched it.
Billy
It was
Billy
mine.
disappeared for like 10 minutes. It wasn't even part of the conversation.
No, I'm over here. Like nom 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 nom
So
nom.
good. All right, we are broadcasting
he's
live
so good.
here from the IHOP in Lakewood. We've got folks filling out the place here. It's great to see you all. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so
joining
much for
us.
coming.
We're having a ton of fun. Getting to see friends, swinging by, pastors, all that fun stuff. We even got folks on the phone lines.
Yes.
I wish he was here, but he's at least on the phone lines. Let's go to Barney.
Yes, Barney.
Good morning, Barney. You're on the Jeff and Bill Show.
Good morning.
Well, honest to God, I was going to come, but I got a Cortez load, and it's like I can't blow this load off for you guys. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I can't do that.
Jeff, I think you're going to puke your pancakes up because I got something to say to the preacher, and you're probably not going to like it.
Okay.
Okay.
Because you're kind of Christian. I mean, I'm a Christian. I just don't think I'm going to get into heaven. I'm not good enough. But when it comes down, when you start bringing biblical into law, and don't give me our laws were based on judicial values, blah, blah, blah. The fact is, this comes down to XX and XY. And when you start throwing religion in, what about the atheist that doesn't believe in, a nightmare?
Yeah.
Billy, can I call you Bill?
Absolutely, sure. Absolutely. In fact, Barney, that might be the nicest thing you've called me on the show. So I will take that, my friend.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, it's just like, and he almost like the preacher, with all due respect, buddy, I mean, you're going to make these people rethink. The fact is, we know that there's people out there, they're born gay. They're wired that way. They don't just wake up one day and get on the wrong side of bed, and they're just gay. And I just don't think that if you approach this crap bill that it is, just put it in perspective. Like, wait a minute. You, Jeff, you walk into the store that I own, and I'm selling cakes, and you've got a beard and you've got hair on your arms, but you're wearing high heels. And I say, hey, dude, what's going on? And you could sue me for that? Or I married some flaming liberal because she was really good looking. I went ahead and burnt flags with her, protesting and whatever. and then we have kids, and she wants to do mushrooms with her what are the people that dress up? What the
This is
hell
getting
are
better
they?
and better. Oh, the cross-dressers, the drag queens, yeah.
Yeah, the drag queens. And I'm like going to divorce her, and then we're in a custody battle, and then some stinking little pipsqueak judge says to me, no, buddy, you can't do that. Well, no, I don't want my son to have rainbow hair. I know he's not gay. If he were gay, I would let him go down that path. But parents know from day one. I had a cousin. We were 5 years old. Don't go in the bathroom with that cousin because he'll look at your pee-pee. I mean, it really does come down to it. You don't have to bring religion in. You really don't. And I think it's a huge mistake. I really do.
So what the pastor Bill I think is trying to point out is that the gospel itself and the teachings of Christianity is going to be offensive to this world. It just is. It's been that way since the very beginning. The Bible clearly says it is going to be offensive to this world. But with this type of law, it's going to restrict that ability of the church to even just kind of be the church. And we're getting to a point in this country where the left wants to control your speech simply because they're offended, and they're willing to bring you before the entire powerful, power of the government in order to achieve that. And as a pastor, he should have the ability to stand out on a street corner and say, there's two genders. There's just two genders. This is what the Bible teaches. It's my job here to tell you what the Bible teaches. You want to string me up? Okay, they've done that to Christians throughout history. But in this country, we haven't done that, and we're now starting to cross a line here that's just not right.
No doubt about it. The left wants to destroy Christians. There's no doubt about that. But you still have Christians on the other side. You have Franklin Graham coming out and saying to Muslims, hey, just go run in the closet, Titan, and tell them you believe in Jesus. You're all good. That's offensive, too. Why can't I be Joe Muslim and I meet you on the street and you say, hey, Barney, how are you? And what are you? I'm a Muslim. And you just say, cool, right on, and walk away. But Christians tend to beat up other people. And I don't mean this. Look, I really do want to get to heaven, and I know it's going to be tough. But
you and me both, Barney.
The offense works both ways. But I don't know. Look, this bill is crap. So's this gun bill. By the way, he wants to change Colorado. Dana raised $220,000 in a day. Bill Visor, made $2 million in whatever it was, and then you've got Bill Bennett that's probably going to get $1 billion. I don't know. This state is over with. We're not going to change this state, with all due respect. But good luck, and I will see you guys on the next one.
Nice.
Barney, be safe
out there.
Be safe on the roads. Be safe on the roads, Barney, as you travel. It's great to hear from you.
Always great to hear, Barney.
Yeah. And I think he's got a good perspective on this, because it becomes difficult at times if the reasoning behind the law, or the reason for the law, is because my God said so. That's a difficult argument that you should be able to make some of the secular arguments as well, I feel, because if the argument is just because my God said so, now we're just arguing over books. We're just arguing over which book we're using.
That the idea of the appeal to authority, right? Yeah. So everybody does it. Every side does it. And what Christians are trying to point out, though, is that we're reaching a point where everybody else is able to bring their values into the public square for whatever they believe, for whatever reason. And then we show up with a book that has shaped history for 2,000 years and led to the creation of the greatest country in world history. And we go, well, according to this book, maybe, and everyone goes, no, you can't do that. But my beliefs and values, which change in 10-minute increments, if you're on the radical left, right, things that weren't even big issues 10 years ago are now huge issues that they're willing to die on a hill for. Okay, we can write laws according to your values, but not ours, in the book that shaped Western civilization. That's where I think Christians have a good point. But appreciate Barney. We've got Scott Shamblin live at the IHOP here with us. Mark Baisley just walked in as well. We're going to get Mark Baisley up here. He's running for governor, state senator. He's going to join us as well. But Scott, thanks for swinging by.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So Scott Shamblin is a regular on X with Libs of TikTok. They pick up his stuff all the time. You are one of the guys that started to showcase all the lawmakers literally coloring on their iPads during the big debates on the gun bills, right?
Yes, it's been incredibly fun to expose them. Over the last couple of weeks, people that have been at the Capitol, they've been sending me videos of our lawmakers, of our state representatives on their phones during the gun debate. We had Amy Pascal. She was doing a color by number on her massive iPad. She had stickers on her desk. She was playing. It looked like a memory care center. Then we also had Chad Clifford. He's a state representative from Centennial. What hasn't he done? He was watching videos on his phone. It looked like Netflix. He later said it was body cam footage. But then when somebody confronted him, he said, I wish I thought of Netflix. I think I'm going to watch cartoons next time. And he said that. And, you know, this is a commonplace now. We're getting videos just a couple days ago, last week actually, homeschool day at the Capitol with Colorado Christian home educators. They had all the kids up in the gallery, and then Chad's just right down below them, plain view. He's watching a video of a drag queen in plain view of a ton of kids and their parents.
I mean, directly trolling, you think?
I don't know. I can't say.
Do you remember when Woody Woodrow a few years ago was texting with a porn star during one of the committee hearings?
Yeah. Yeah, this for me, it's like, and going to what Scott was saying about the kids, this is why I don't go down and participate in any of the testifying for bills or anything else, because I know that more times than not, they've already made up their minds. But I would go with the schoolroom example, and during those testimonies, the lawmakers have to surrender their phone beforehand. They all put it in a box, and they get their phone back afterwards. And that includes iPads and everything else. You don't get your technology just like you're in school. You're there to pay attention. Pay attention. I think we should institute the exact same rule, that when that starts, you have a box. The box goes down, everybody puts their cell phones, their iPads in, and you have to sit there and pay attention. If it's good enough for the school kids, it's good enough for our lawmakers.
Senator Baisley, are you okay with that?
Nobody listens to me.
It was a great example of the schoolroom. That was perfect. Well done. Mark Baza is going to join us in just a second. We were talking about all the lawmakers that get busted for watching videos and then
doing other things
during all that. And Bill's idea is that we lock all your phones away while you're down at the Capitol.
Yeah, like when you're going to have testimony, then you're going to sit up there, then you've got to pass around a box and you put your cell phones and your iPads in it and you get it back afterwards. Just like in school.
Like a skip,
Yes.
You know, the reason I don't join any of the country clubs is because they won't let me walk in with a phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're pretty busy with us. Well, he's running for governor. We're going to talk to him in just a second. Follow Scott Shamblin on X at Scott P. Shamblin. He does some really good work there. He's a ton of fun. And he's typically out there with me at the protest. So, Scott Shamblin, thanks for swinging by, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show live from the IHOP in Lakewood.
Yes, this is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Thanks, man. We have totally lost Bill at this point. Bill is chatting with folks. He is the fun one at these events. Everybody loves to see Bill Thorpe. We're doing a live broadcast, and we're at the IHOP here in Lakewood, and we're even feeding senators. Mark Baisley is with us now. We got to bring Mark's. Yeah, what do you got there, Mark?
This food is amazing, Jeff. It's like I've got looks like Benedict, some eggs Benedict, but this is some elaborate with avocado and bacon sprinkles on it. That's phenomenal. That's nowhere near my diet. I love it.
Yeah, but you got to eat because you're running for governor, Senator Baisley. So you're out on the road. You're meeting people here. You're talking through in the can to the whole city of Denver. Tell us how the race for governor is going.
I will, but I want the audience to know that Jeff and Bill look just like they sound. You know, in person.
Is that a compliment? I'm not sure about
sure
this.
it is. But I've always pictured you guys as starting out, since you start out so early every morning, that you know, in your pajamas. Your Spider-Man pajamas with a cup of coffee in your, which I think is
not
fine,
far off.
but it is inappropriate for here at a public place. I just think you guys.
I was telling Jeff, this is one of my out in shirts public shirts. This is one of my in public shirts.
I wear a 90,
and the bunny slippers are awesome to match to that.
Speaking of House Bill 1312. By the way, we're going to carry you through to the top of the next hour. This bill, though, this transgender rights bill, it got through the House. Do you expect that with all the national heat that thing's getting right now, Fox is covering all of it, do you think they let the calendar take its course here? Do you think they actually pass it?
Well, I'm hoping. I never know what's going on behind closed doors there in the majority party, the Democrat Party. So, yeah, they'll make those decisions and then they'll execute it. And they might not even share that with us, what they're doing. But right now, indications are it's not showing up on the calendar. Wow. And we have 3 weeks left. So 3 weeks from today, we wrap it up. So if it's not calendared, or if it's calendared but doesn't move through the cycle fast enough, then it could die on the calendar. Just that's according to the state constitution. We are done after 120 days of session.
Thank God.
And
everybody breathes a sigh of relief.
It really would. It'd be so rough on the state to try to implement something like that. So yeah.
All right, Mark Baisley, you saw Governor pull a sign. Senate Bill 3, or you saw he did sign it the other day.
Yep, I was in the building.
We've only got about 30 seconds left. Was that a surprise to you that he signed that?
And it wasn't, because I spoke with him the night before at an event, and I asked him about it, and he was talking up how, you know what, this is really just a training. It has this training element, and what could be better than safety training for firearms? And so that's when I knew he was actually going to sign it. And he almost had to, because they compromised for him when he asked them to soften the bill, and they did. So that kind of community mentality.
All right, Mark Baisley, state senator's live here with us at the IHOP in Lakewood. He's also running for governor. I'm going to ask him about that race when we come back. Yeah. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader. We're at the IHOP in Belmar. News Talk 710 KNUS.
of Mark Baisley right now. He's eating like a king.
He is. See that sack of pancakes in front of him? This is amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, gotta turn the mic
There
on.
we go.
There we go.
Go ahead, say it again,
Yeah.
Senator.
I said I'm eating like 3 kings at the
See?
moment.
This is what we do with our guests. We feed them this well. At least as far as everybody else knows.
I've got a stack of French toast. You could probably jump off the building and land onto it, and it would
That
cushion
is.
you.
I mean, the
that thick.
thickness of that toast is probably like 3 regular pieces of bread. Where do they get that toast?
I know.
What
This
sort
is
of
just
freak
fantastic.
bakery does toast that big? This is amazing.
So you're gonna
try
end up
that.
on Colorado Pulse later
Oh.
tonight.
I
tell you, is that-
Scandal as Baisley eats like a king at IHOP.
Jeff, is that a banana on your French toast, or are you just happy to see me?
Oh, that is wonderful.
Well done. Quick with the wit. All right, so Senator Baisley, we talked a little bit about some of the law stuff you're dealing with down at the state capitol, but you are seeking another job right now. You are running for governor of the state of Colorado.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about the race. Right now, from what I've seen, Scott Bottoms, Greg Lopez are in. All great guys.
Yep.
All 3 of y'all, wonderful guys. I'll ask you the same question I asked Greg Lopez on my show the other day. Why are you the best to represent Republicans over those guys?
Thank you for asking. So these guys are friends of mine. We've known each other for a long time, and I love them, and I wish them well. So we're all vying for the same job, right? We're all asking the people to elect us to that responsibility. So for me, I'm looking at, for one, we've been playing on defense for 10 years. For 10 years, there's been the supermajority. The Democrats have controlled the House and the Senate and the governor's office. And we see the results. I mean, compare that to when Republicans controlled everything. What did we get? Well, we got the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. Mm-hmm. What do we get from them? Well, we're getting massive growth in government and a deep intrusion into our social lives, our social construct. And so that's bad. But at any rate, and let me say this too. This comes up, I'm ever amazed with the bills that they're coming up with, because everything that they could have thought of that would be reasonable with gun control and so on, they did that years ago. Yeah. Now they're just making stuff up. They're just getting creative. Gee, what else could we do?
I think we've become the proving ground for how progressive can you get your laws to be.
Yes.
They know this stuff's going to get challenged in court. They know that 5 years from now the U.S. Supreme Court's going to strike down some of this stuff, but they do it anyway.
They do it anyway. So I see that it is time to go on offense. So that's why I'm running for governor, is because I've been in the state house, serving in the state house, now serving in the state senate, and I'm just tired of trying to hold back the avalanche. It's time to start pushing back and gain ground for American founding principles. So, but you asked the question, what makes me the best choice for the group that's offering for the job? So I'm not asking to do something that I'm not already doing, is kind of my point. So my emphasis will be on economics and on education and on safety. So economics, building jobs, building an environment, a friendly environment for business. So Colorado has some amazing businesses that locate here, and what prompted me to run was working with those businesses, trying to create them, and them approaching me and saying, hey, you got to fix this state. This is a lousy place to do business. We might pack up and leave. And some of them that just got here saying, how can I develop artificial intelligence technology when you guys are passing laws that make it harder here in Colorado than any other state? So economics is the big deal to me. So I worked hard to get the CHIPS Act passed. That was 2 years ago. Last year, led the charge from the Senate side, along with many others, of course, but to bring the Tech Hub designation for quantum here. We are now, and we beat out every other state for that. We are the tech hub for the world. And so we have companies that are locating here, headquartering here. Honeywell sent their big company. It's really the biggest quantum company, and headquartered here in Broomfield. And then, the last thing might be a little controversial for folks on the right, but I worked real hard on bringing the Sundance Festival, film festival, to Colorado. I think the folks on the creative side of the brain, they need some work too. But but this is like, and we just won that. We beat out all the other states that were vying for that as well. This is going to be like having the Super Bowl come to Colorado 10 years in a row. It'll really get a great economic boom, especially for our hotels, our hospitality industry, the restaurants and so on. They are all hoping for it, all the way out to Adams County economic development folks were in support of it because it's going to spill over from Boulder all across the Front Range. And I met with the board of the Sundance Film Festival multiple times, and they've committed to me and to the current governor, that they will spread that wealth across the state. You know, we have smaller film festivals across the state that happen all the way out to Durango. And
did you negotiate a starring role in one of their films?
I just asked them to never allow my wife to meet
Robert Redford.
Kevin Costner.
Or Kevin Costner.
Yeah, right.
Good choice.
Yeah. Well, Mark Baisley's joining us live here at the IHOP in Lakewood. We're doing this till 10, so feel free to swing by, say hi to us. Mark, I want to ask you about winning in this state. I think a lot of donors look at the last cycle. Governor Heidi Ganahl, incredible candidate.
Yes.
Out there, a stellar track record. And Jared Polis and the Democrats win 19 points. How do you convince donors that Colorado's in play?
Got it. What a great question. Yes, because it's going to take both sides of that coin, right? Our candidate's going to need to carry the base. The base needs to be excited about the candidate, and we need just a whole lot of money. It's going to be in the, $10 million plus dollars. Yeah. So the folks who challenged me a year ago, hey, step up and run for governor. My pushback was, okay, step up and raise the money. So we've begun. We're raising pretty good money in the campaign directly, but there's a small cap. It's the individual. The most they can give is $1,450. So you got to get 1,000 of those just to get up to your $1.5 million. So these parallel organizations called the Independent Expenditure Committee (IEC) business community has created one of those in support of me, and they call it New Colorado Promise. And they are raising the money. In fact, they have a huge fundraising event tomorrow evening, tomorrow night at Ravenna. If anyone would like to show up with a fat check, then come on down. So they will raise the millions necessary to run the parallel campaign.
Yeah. We're talking with Mark Baisley. He's running for governor. You can follow him on X at Mark Baisley. That's spelled Baisley. Baisley. All right. Michael Bennett, I think, is likely to be the candidate that the Democrats field. I think Phil Weiser now is going to have to tack hard to the left. And that may work for him, because I went to the Bernie rally, and there's 30,000 people there. I mean, that was the biggest rally I've seen, political rally in this state, since Obama 08.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump pulled in some numbers. I was at Red Rocks with Romney in 12. We filled out Red Rocks, but that's only 10,000 people. This was 30,000 people down at Civic Center Park, mostly gray hairs. Like, if you had just airdropped me in to that spot and asked me where I was, I'd look around and go, I think I'm at a John Tesh concert. Right? There's a lot of boomers that seem to be supporting Bernie Sanders. So maybe Phil can pull it off. I don't think he's that interesting of a guy. I don't think Michael Bennett's either, but I think he's a bigger name. So why are you better than Michael Bennett to run the state?
Oh, where do I start? Well,
how about all the accomplishments he's done in 20 years?
Yeah.
Does anyone hear crickets? I hear crickets.
Exactly.
There you go. Plus, not only is he more boring than I am, but he also has a track record of fighting against what's good for Colorado. I mean, one of my platforms is safety, which, of course, includes safety for crime that comes pouring in from South America uninvited, and he is on record for having fought against what's good for Colorado there. So we'll point those out. To my surprise, and I've engaged a very professional campaign management team. Rory McShane is if you know him.
I know Rory.
Yeah, he's very professional, and they're marching me through the process in a very, very methodical way, and I appreciate them a lot. They're real pros. And Rory was hoping for Michael Bennett as a competitor. So I'm on. Let's go.
The battle royale begins in the Rocky Mountains. All right, Mark Baisley. I know we got to get back down to the Senate. Thank you so much for taking time and enjoying some good food with us at the IHOP.
MarkBaisley.com.
MarkBaisley.com.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, sir.
Great to chat with you. And I'm glad we did our part feeding a good conservative lawmaker to go down to the state capitol.
That's fantastic. You can take some of those pancakes with you, put them in your pockets or something. I'm just saying that, for later.
It's like Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh,
where
yes.
He pulls out the tater tots.
Yes, exactly.
Halfway through
Yes,
the
you got to save them
class.
for later.
All right, Bill, why don't you tell us about Wound Care Associates, then we'll get Blake up and do the news here.
Absolutely. You know, I want to talk to you about a new advertiser here on the show, Wound Care Associates of Colorado. I was excited to find them because of a problem that happened earlier in my life. My aunt, a number of years ago, developed a chronic wound on her leg. And the problem is the wound treatment facility was just trying to maintain the wound. That meant kept it open. That means that her skin and tissue was still torn. And that's the perfect place for dirt, germs, and bacteria to get access to your body. That's exactly what happened to her. She got exposed to MRSA during the wound treatment process. While they were trying to maintain the wound, the thing that was supposed to keep her healthy, she got sick because of it and spent days, weeks, even months in and out of the hospital because of it. So when my youngest daughter got into the same situation in her life, she had some surgery recently and the wound wasn't healing, I wasn't messing around. I went with Wound Care Associates of Colorado, and this is why if someone in your family is dealing with a chronic wound, a pressure sore, a diabetic ulcer, you need to choose Wound Care Associates of Colorado because they do it differently. First of all, they maximize the healing outcome. They want to make sure that that skin and tissue heals, that it's closed, because that is the best way to prevent any serious infection. Sounds like that's like no-brainer, right? I know, but there are so many other wound treatment facilities that don't do that. They want to maintain your wound. Then on top of that, their wound-certified nurse practitioner will come to your home and set up a custom treatment plan. Did you catch those two words I said? Your home? Yes. Wound Care Associates of Colorado does the old house call thing. It's concierge service without the concierge pricing. And so what that means is their nurse comes to your home and does the treatment there. It couldn't be easier. Maybe someone in your family is in an assisted living facility or maybe in a retirement community, and you're the one that has to play family Uber. And that's time out of your day, time out of their day. You don't need that. The easiest thing to do is contact the Wound Care Associates of Colorado at coloradowound.com, coloradowound.com, Wound Care Associates of Colorado at coloradowound.com to set up your own private, customized, personal meeting with their nurse-certified wound practitioner that is going to take care of everything. It'll be able to heal you. All you got to do is reach out to coloradowound.com, coloradowound.com. I did it when my daughter needed a treatment. You should as well. We trust them. You can too. It's coloradowound.com, coloradowound.com for the Wound Care Associates of Colorado. Jeff, back to you.
Great to hear, Bill. Thanks so much. Man, we are filling up here today. I think I see maybe a table over there that's still open, but we got a packed house. Great to see everybody down here. We are doing a live broadcast from the IHOP here in Lakewood, and now is time for Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
.52 and sunny in Denver, expecting a high of 76 today. It is beautiful here in Lakewood at the IHOP at Alameda and Wadsworth, southwest corner. So come on out and see Jeff and Billy. Our top story, DJT posting this morning that Japan is coming in today to negotiate tariffs, the cost of military support, and trade fairness. He says he'll attend the meeting along with Treasury and Commerce secretaries. Hopefully something can be worked out, which is great, he says, for Japan and the U.S. 47 also posted a nice message to corrupt Joe Biden after the globalists showed him, or I should say shoved him back on the stage to ramble about how bad President Trump is. It was absolutely horrible. And on Holy Week, thank you, Jesus, we defeated Kamala Khan and the Biden left fraudulent globalists. Thank God. AG Pam Bondi just announced a civil lawsuit against the Department of Education in Maine for allowing men in women's sports, violation of Title IX, all about women's safety in that one. And let's see. Oh, this is the story. Yeah, a criminal referral has been sent to the Department of Justice, and corrupt New York Attorney General Letitia James has been accused of mortgage fraud Remember, she tried to absolutely ruin DJT, weaponizing the justice system, using lawfare. Evil woman. She's accused of falsifying records to receive more favorable loans. She is an absolute monster. And Mike Davis may have just dropped one of the greatest sound bites ever about Big Tish James. He says something like, "Sweetheart, I dare you to continue your lawfare." I'll try to play it tomorrow because we can't get it on right now, but it is absolutely classic. All right, we'll hit the fun stuff right here. What do I have? Nuggets tipping off first round of the NBA playoffs versus the Clippers on Saturday. The Dodgers over the Rockies last night, 6-2, and the Avalanche and Kelly Michaels preparing for the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs against the Dallas Stars. 50 in North Glen, 51 in Glendale, 52 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue from the IHOP in Lakewood. At Alameda and Wadsworth, come on out. Blake Olson, News Talk, 710 KNUS.
Your 710 5-day forecast still going to be mild today. We'll have daytime sunshine with increasing clouds late afternoon and evening. Highs will be in the mid-70s. May have a small chance for a light shower later today along the foothills. Lows tonight in the upper 40s. Partly cloudy, brisk winds, upper 60s, low 70s Thursday. We're going to get afternoon and evening showers and a few thunderstorms. Rain will change to snow Thursday night and continue through the day Friday. Weather brought to you by Colorado's Best Roofing, reminding you to protect your home from the harsh Colorado weather. Schedule your free no-obligation roof inspection at roofingcolorado.com. Meteorologist Don Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
This is the part of the show, especially when we're doing a live broadcast, Bill, where we get sleepy because we've been eating
I know.
for 2.5 hours.
I'm on the stack of blueberry pancakes.
Yep.
And that's okay. Just pop quiz here. If you're doing pancakes, are they plain or do you add fruit or chocolate chips? What's the way that Jeff Hunt does them?
Plain.
Plain?
Yeah.
No.
No.
You got to put stuff in them.
I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, like if someone serves chocolate, I'm like, yeah, sounds good,
Yeah.
chocolate. But normally if I'm
Chocolate
at home, I
pancakes.
just make plain pancakes.
Oh, you got to put the fruit in them. You got to, again, I can't make pancakes, so I got to cover up my mistakes. So, yeah, I may have actually put some candy sprinkles and stuff in them, too, as a kid.
If you ever ran for office and I was running against you, it would say, Bill Thorpe. For office? Question mark?
Yes, for office.
He can't even make pancakes.
Yes. Have you seen him make rice? It's a failure. He can't handle the budget. Oh, I deserve that. I deserve that, my friend.
So we're doing a
More
live
pancakes.
broadcast down here at the IHOP. It's packed.
So
People
good.
are having fun. They're chatting with each other. They're listening to the show. But most importantly, they're enjoying good food.
Yeah.
And we love it when our regulars, people that call in, we're kind of like Cheers.
Yeah, we
in
are.
the sense that when folks like
It's like Barney and
Barney
Jack
called,
and Joe from
Jack,
Arvada
Joe,
and Brian and Francis.
and then there's Joan
Tony
from
Yep.
Lakewood.
Yes, there is.
And Jonah swung by to say hi. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here, and I see a lot of people that I recognize, but I want to point out Joshua. Joshua had never heard of this radio station.
Yeah.
He's really excited to be here.
Josh
He's
is
having
the
a good
man.
time. So I want you to know there are people here that have never been here before, don't know, so don't feel like, it's just,
This is nice.
That's
Yeah, and
a great point,
Joshua's undergone a career transformation. He's recently decided to go back to the service routes and hang out here at IHOP, and is having a wonderful time. He and I had a great conversation earlier. Dude, his son is like a glass blower and stuff. I mean, it is. Yeah. Again, this is what happens when you come here. I come and I meet your family. I talk about
Bill's
it was great.
fun. Bill is just this kind of like little social butterfly.
Yeah, you got to go meet everybody.
Flies around and meets everybody.
So I came by because I have something very serious to talk about.
Yes, please, go ahead.
I don't know if you've been hearing me with HB 251211. That's the water bill that hits tap fees only in special districts. And I've been working very hard, fighting very hard, and it got past everything, and it's now on the governor's desk. So our last thing we can do is we can call the governor and say, hey, This is not good.
Now, tell folks what this will do.
Give us the
How does it
elevator
affect
speech.
their
I'm going
lives?
to tell you that people will say, this is not a bill that just gets one district. No, that's not true. They have been after the Green Mountain Water District because they're not going to give water to a parcel of land that was purchased from the feds that's contaminated, that they want to put 2,000 units on. And it was sponsored by Rebecca Stewart, who used to be on the city council. You can draw the lines right up to Polis. And Polis, I'm pretty sure, is passing this because have you ever heard of certificates of participation?
Oh, yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Tell me what you know about certificates.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about the idea of inside of the educational sphere. The idea that if you go through the process, then you'll get a certificate of participation. We're not going to give any merit-based awards. We're just going to acknowledge that you were here, the body was here, it was warm at the time, and that's it. So basically, that's the idea. It's when we started taking away.
That's not how it goes with the state.
Oh, I'm not sure. I have no idea what the state's about because they don't let me in those rooms.
The state is all about, you were here, you supported us, and now we're going to support you.
Yeah.
And we're going to pass some things that are going to be. It's a very interesting aspect that nobody knows anything about. But anyway, it's really important that we call. I'm not going to give out his number because that's just not how I roll.
Oh, do you have a cell phone, though?
No.
Let's text the governor.
Yes.
A picture of Bill and I.
Yes.
Put ourselves up. Now we got your phone number. No.
So, this is part of this huge development that they're trying to pass through, and they're going to try and pass it through in May. And it's based because this water bill passed. And one of the more interesting things about here in Lakewood is we had an SGI. It was to specifically have a growth initiative that would only let certain kinds of growth happen. And one of the things that they discovered was that in 2000, I believe it was 16, they passed something called in lieu of. And that meant that they could give, the developer is required by the charter to give a certain percentage of the development to public lands and stuff. And it's one of the reasons why Lakewood has such lovely open spaces. It's one of the reasons why there are churches, because at the time, in the early 70s and stuff, churches were also. And I can tell you that they passed this that in you didn't have to give the land, you could pay the city a certain amount of money. So I can say that this land that they're looking at over here, this 57 acres, and they want to put 2,000 units on, and that will generate $7 million for the city.
Wow.
And they can say, it used to be, we passed a law last fall that we couldn't do the in lieu of, and they squashed that.
Huh.
So
Now, Joan, I know that the people that are in favor of this are going to come out and they're going to sell the housing aspect of it. They're going to say, we have a housing crisis. We need to be able to have this because we need to have more houses. Now, again, that is not the only location in the entire state, nor the only location in the metro area that they could build houses. So it's not the only one available, but that's how they're going to sell it. How do you push back, and what responses should the audience have for those people that say, but how come you're against us building houses to make them so affordable?
Well, I can tell you right now, some of the affordability is coming down. Here in Lakewood, there actually is housing that is on the market now. You can drive around and there's a few signs. Didn't used to be that way. And I'm going to tell you that I've been talking to people and young people, and they don't want to live in Soviet-style apartment complexes.
Soviet-style?
Yeah.
They want to live in single-family units where they have a yard that they can put their children out in the backyard while they're fixing dinner. They want to have a yard so they can have 6 dogs and a goat.
Chickens.
I'm not.
Yes, chickens.
They do have chickens here. But I can tell you, when I moved here, I moved out of Denver, and I had 2 beehives at the time. And in Lakewood, they permit you and you can only have one hive, and it's a really
That's
huge
weird.
mess. It is.
That is a mess.
Why would-
Well, Joan, we sure appreciate
B
you
is
coming
kind of-
by
I
and talking
cannot-
with us.
Yes,
and
thanks,
if you
Joan.
want to call the governor on this water issue, here's his phone number. It's his office line, not his.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry.
303-866-2885, 303-866-2885. We always love when our listeners bring up these issues that we
Yes.
just don't have the capacity to pay attention
Oh, yeah.
to. But they're passionate about it, and that our show is a vehicle for them to get that information out. Joan, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank
for
you
breakfast.
so much.
thank you. It's
And
nice to
all
see
you
you.
have to say is veto. Veto.
Veto. We
go.
like that
Thank
word,
you.
Governor Polis.
That is a good word.
Veto. I want to talk to you about my friends over at Alarm Detection Systems. Look, reliability isn't optional when business security is on the line. It's essential. Businesses trust alarm detection systems for the highest level of service and expertise. Think about the time you could save using one source for cameras, keycard access, fire, and intrusion systems. ADS offers expert alarm installation and testing by highly trained technicians, 24/7 professional monitoring, same-day or next-day service upon request because downtime isn't an option, dedicated teams for cameras, access control, and fire alarms, over 300 security professionals working for you. Choosing ADS means your business stays protected and will be ready to open tomorrow. They combine human monitoring with the latest AI camera technology to prevent crime in real time. Trusted by small and large businesses, including many Colorado schools, their security experts will review your system for free. All you got to do, go to adsalarm.com and schedule your review today. adsalarm.com. Alarm Detection Systems, the first choice of Front Range and Colorado businesses. adsalarm.com. All right, he just walked in. We're going to get to Rich Wyatt. You know the name. Rich owned the gun store Gunsmoke Guns, was on television, reality TV star, Wikipedia says. Did you know that? We're going to get to Rich Wyatt in just a second. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill show, but Billy is being the social butterfly. You could tell who was the life of the party, and that was Bill Thorpe. We'll get Bill back over here, but he swung by. He's the new state Jefferson County Republican Party chairman. You know the name. You probably saw him on television with the show American Guns. He owned the store Gunsmoke Guns. Rich Wyatt joins us. Good morning, Rich.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate you coming to Jefferson County and being here with us with the show. It's awesome. Good to see you guys again.
So, look, I was down at the state party gathering in Colorado Springs. Yes. You played a big role. You did security for Steve Bannon, and then you got a phone call from Tina Peters during the event. That was a big deal.
Well, it was fun. Look, we love Tina Peters, except for Billy over here. But, hey, but as John Wayne said, you can't fix stupid, Billy. So listen, here's the thing. We love her. She's a great person. She's a Gold Star mom, and we were blessed to have her come on and just share with her, what's going on. And I, I went to prison too. Yeah. And so this is very close to me. And she doesn't deserve to be there. 9 years, whether she committed the crime or not, doesn't matter. Yeah. 9 years is ridiculous.
Well, and when we live in a state where you can rape a child and get probation.
Yeah.
And that happened to 70 people. 70 people, I think, last year raped a child and got probation. Tina Peters, 9 years in jail.
I was at Jeffco yesterday, and there was a guy who had previously committed a felony assault, convicted, and never served time for it, just got probation. He's in there on another assault case right now, and they want to give him 30 days. Wow. Come on. I mean, he's hurting people. That's a big difference. But I love Tina, Gold Star mom, 70 years old. Rock star of a person. 9 years is outrageous. Nobody got hurt. No matter which side of what she did you're on, doesn't matter. She doesn't. The judge was absolutely pathetic. Called her a charlatan 2 times. It was personal. It was political. It had nothing to do with it. But listen, so we want to get her out, and it's a struggle, and nothing's worked so far, but now the Trump administration is getting involved, and you see that he's kicking doors wide open. Because every day's like Christmas with President Trump. You wake up and you got a stocking full of gifts, and there he is bringing us stuff. Now all we got to do is get Colorado back on track, because as you know here, when they're passing laws that say I can't tell my children what I want to tell my children, are you out of your mind? What world, what planet did these people come from that they think they can pass these laws? And the draconian gun laws, I made a lot of money on firearms training. This is a bad law.
Well, let's talk about Senate Bill 3.
Yeah.
All right, we've gone through on the show before, but let's talk about some of the restrictions it's now going to add. These county sheriffs basically have to approve anybody to purchase these types of guns. That's step one. Then you got all these classes you got to pass. They don't even know what the cost is going to be yet, but I'm guessing it's not going to be minimal. So it's basically a poll tax on your Second Amendment rights. Lots of new restrictions now. Your thoughts, sir?
100%. It's crazy. The Second Amendment is crystal clear. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is an infringement. As you mentioned earlier on the show, the Supreme Court's never going to let this fly. One of the mistakes we make is we go down and argue with these idiots, and when you argue with an idiot, it makes you an idiot. And so that we go down and argue with them, and then they change the law and make it a little better. It would have been better off just to leave it as it was, so it was so egregious that the Supreme Court would have immediately just swept it and said, this is ridiculous, throw this in the garbage. So, look, the pendulum swings, right? 30 years ago, 40 years ago, the very first radio show I was on was with Peter Boyles, and Pat Sullivan, who went to prison for molesting children, was the sheriff in Arapahoe County, and he was pulling the same crap. All I want is background checks so I can make sure they're good people. Well, you're not a good person. Who are you to check on us? So we got a real problem, and a lot of the sheriffs that we've gotten lately are not as good as some of the sheriffs we've had in the past. Jefferson County hasn't had a Democrat sheriff for, I don't know, maybe 100 years. And now we got a Democrat sheriff that's going to make it difficult. She's already done so. Make it difficult for people to get concealed weapons permits, and that's not right. We have prosecutors, DAs that aren't prosecuting violent crimes against people. Now you want to take away our guns to defend ourselves? It just doesn't work. This is Colorado, ladies and gentlemen. I moved from the East Coast, the mecca of liberalism, New York and Connecticut. And now I'm here in Colorado, which was a red state. When I ran for sheriff in Jefferson County 25 years ago, Democrats didn't even run. That's what we're going to get back to. That's what we're going to fix here at Jefferson County. So we need Jefferson County residents to come to the party. And you know what we got to have? That green grease that makes the world go round. We got to have some money so we can move forward and get candidates elected again.
We're talking with Rich Wyatt. You know him from the show American Guns. He owned Gunsmoke Guns and now is the chairman of the Jefferson County Republican Party. Let's talk specifically about that. You got some woo-hoos here. Yeah. Some people, I think, that like you.
That's my mom.
Yeah. Are we connecting? There's Joan from Lakewood. No. Rich, how do you win it in Jeffco? Because I remember, you're right. I worked for Mitt Romney, and we had our big campaign headquarters over here. And the effort was we could maybe possibly win Jeffco and Arapahoe, and we'll bank all of our votes in Douglas County. It's completely changed to where Jeffco is. I mean, there's not a single Republican county commissioner, is there?
Nope. Not anymore.
So you're blue county through and through.
Oh, we're rock hard blue.
Yeah.
The way we fix it is, number one, we get rid of the process that we have for elections. If you notice, when that changed, so did the politics of Jefferson County. Mail-in ballots. When I would go out and canvass in the Colorado School of Mines area, I'd go up to an 800 to 1,200 square foot house with Jackie, our vice chair of the party, and we'd both walk up there. We'd have the list. 9 people registered to vote inside this 8 to 1,200 square foot house. Not one of those people lived in that house. But all those ballots went to that house, and how do we know what happened to them? If we could go back to Election Day, where you walked in and you cast your ballot between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., and then the amazing part about Election Day, without all these whiz-bang computers, was we knew that night who was elected. Now we got these super califragilistic computers, and they can't decide for 2 weeks who got elected. It's outrageous.
But do you think we could actually get away from mail-in? For a lot of people, it's so convenient. How do you put the toothpaste back in the tube?
You just put it back. You shove it in hard as you can. That's all. And you won't get it all, but you get most of it. Here's the thing. Convenience is not always right. Convenience doesn't make a great country. We have a great country because we worked hard and we did things that were difficult, and that's what we're going to do. We have fought everybody in this country doing all kinds of things. We're the police department for the world. We got to back off a little of that. That's what Trump's doing, the greatest president ever elected in the history of America, Donald J. Trump, and he is knocking it out of the park. Every day, that guy's hitting home runs, and they come up and try to stop him, and they can't because the Supreme Court says, go ahead, Mr. President.
Now, that's Rich Wyatt that you're listening to. I'm curious, are you against the computer voting machines or the mail-in ballot voting machines?
Both.
Both? So how do we do the votes?
You walk in and vote. That's how we do it.
How? On the paper or because the paper is a mail-in ballot?
The paper's a mail-in ballot that people get that goes out of the custody of the electoral people that run at the clerk's office. It goes out of their custody, and then somebody else comes in and says, yeah, this is the guy who sent it in. We think maybe, because we're not sure.
Oh, no, they run signature verification on those.
Oh, and that's a guaranteed for life? You want to guarantee that? Will you give $1 million for every one I find that's fraudulent?
Measure, what do you mean by fraudulent? Fraudulent ballots?
Not a proper signature on that document. Would you give me $1 million for everyone I could find?
No, but I'll give you $1 million if you find enough votes that'll change the election. If you find one or two, that's not a major fraud. There's going to be fraud in every election.
Oh, it's not a major murder, just a murder. Okay, I get it.
No, that's a different. That's a bad analogy. That's a different analogy. It's a bad analogy.
No, it's not. It's fantastic.
That's
you just
dumb
can't stand
analogy.
the truth.
No, it's not about the truth.
Yeah.
No, it's not about the truth. Hey, I didn't start the name calling. You started the name calling at the beginning. I didn't start the name calling.
What name calling?
Excuse me?
What name calling?
You said you can't fix stupid. Right when you started.
I didn't say. Okay.
Right when you started.
Okay.
So I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to say a thing. I'm not the one that started that. You're the one that started the names.
Okay, I'll finish
now,
it.
Again. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. Hey, listen. You
hell?
attacked Tina Peters for no reason.
No, I
Do you
attacked
think
her. I attacked
do you
her
think
because
she
of the
deserves
decisions
a
that she made.
9-year sentence for what happened?
Nope, been consistent on that. But does she deserve to be in prison?
Okay.
Yep.
No, she doesn't deserve
Yes,
to
she
be in
does.
prison. Are you kidding
Yes.
me? We want to
Yes.
waste money putting political people in prison over a nothing burger when we got to. Let's go look at the real evidence. No, not one single case on this election fraud stuff has ever gone to trial. They're all dismissed because of standing.
No, that's incorrect.
Oh, name the one that's gone.
That's incorrect. No, some
Name
of them.
Name
some
it.
of them.
Come on. Name it.
Some of
Name
them.
it. Name one that went. Do it.
Excuse me.
There's no excuse. Name one that went. Do it.
Hang on.
No, we're not hanging on. This isn't. You name the one that went. It didn't happen.
You tell me when I get to talk on my own show, because I've tried 3 times now and you've interrupted me each time.
Okay.
So you tell me when. Is now the time?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. I didn't know I'm going to have to sit here and run through court cases for Tina Peters right now. I don't have that in my hard drive right now. I'm sorry. I will bring that later. But we do have more than 250 audits. You had more than 60 court cases, none of them. And they weren't all tossed out because of standing. And if you believe that there was fraud being shown, then tell me why Fox News wrote the nearly $800 million check to Dominion.
Very simple. It was a business decision.
A business decision based on what?
Can I finish now? You asked the question. Can I go ahead and talk?
Based on what?
Can I go ahead and talk?
Based on what?
Is it okay to talk?
Finish
you
the
tell
idea.
me when it's okay to talk.
Right now. Based on what?
Based on business, which maybe I don't know what you know about business, but here's the thing. You make a decision whether you're going to waste the money on attorneys to go to trial or just make the payment. And here's the thing. They're still in business and they're doing better than ever. They blow CNN, MSNBC, all these other stations out of the water because they're so successful. So I guess it was a proper business decision because they're making way more money now.
Yeah, it was a proper business decision because they couldn't prove the case.
Wrong.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
How do you? Okay, what is? Okay,
Are you a lawyer?
No, but guess what I do know? Defamation law and libel law, and I know it very well.
Okay.
Inside of defamation and libel law, what is the absolute defense? It's truth.
The truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so if Fox News walks in with the truth that the election was stolen, what happens to that court case?
Have you been to court much? Because let me tell
What
you.
happens to the court case when you walk in there with the truth?
If you would just let me finish, then I could give you the answer you need to hear so you could maybe learn something. Okay, here's what we're talking about.
Again with the insults. You hear this, right?
Yeah.
And I'm the one that he said that I was insulting him.
Yeah.
Who's the one throwing the insults out here? If you can't argue without sitting here and throwing insults,
it's not just about
it's childish.
arguing.
It is childish.
Come on.
You're
It's
childish.
All you want to do is all you care about is win. You don't care about right.
No, I care about
you don't
right
care
and
about,
facts.
No, you don't care about right and facts.
Yes,
you
I
couldn't
do.
name one lawsuit that was that
I didn't know I was going to have to with this crap
well,
today.
Be prepared.
But then
every
let's
day.
go through. Let's
Be
go
prepared.
through. I
No,
have
no,
it in another hard
hold
drive.
it. You haven't let me finish the answers. You never
Because you decide to throw insults.
You all you do is talk over people.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you
Go right
just
ahead.
did it. You just talked over me.
Go right ahead.
You talk about childish. My goodness. Okay, here's the thing. Fox News made a business decision because when you go into court, you never know what's going to happen because judges are overturned regularly. Look at how many judges have been overturned with Trump's executive orders that they said you can't do this, and the Supreme Court comes in and overturns them. So we can't count on judges these days. Just look around and pay attention to it. See, here's the thing. I know you don't understand this. You say go to prison. I've been to prison. It's not a place that Tina Peters should be. Not in prison. Okay, there are people that hurt people, that rape people, that killed children, that abducted children, that are walking around free, and we're not doing anything to stop them. But we spend millions of dollars to put Tina Peters in jail. It's outrageous, Billy. It's not what this society
I
is.
started on Fox News, and he ends with Tina Peters in prison. You're not even like linear. This is ridiculous. In libel and defamation law, truth is an absolute defense. If Fox News
matter in court. It does not matter in court because the judge is the final decision.
Yes, it does.
Not the law. The
Yes,
judge
it does.
is the final decision.
You're right, Rich. You're wrong.
I'm not
You're
wrong.
110% wrong.
Hey, Billy, I've gone to prison for stuff I didn't do, and I'm telling you now, if you wind up in court, with the judge is the final decision, not the law.
No.
Face the facts.
No, I'm facing
Face
the facts.
the
No.
facts.
In libel and defamation law, truth is an absolute defense. If Fox News had the proof, nope, I'm going to turn your mic off. No, Mike. No, Rich. I'm going to finish this. No, Rich. No, Rich. No, I'm going to finish this. No, Rich. I'll turn your mic on in a second. No, I'm going to finish this. No, I'm going to finish my statement. Yes, I have the microphone. Yes, it's my show. Yes. At the end, go get your own show. You had your own TV show for a while. So here's the idea. Yeah, I know. So what? So what, Rich? Make you feel better?
Turn the mic on.
You feel better?
Turn the mic on. I dare you.
There it is.
Okay, good. Now, see, that's what cowards do. Cowards shut off the mic because they can't handle the truth.
Oh, no, not
and
at
that's
all.
your problem.
No, it's not that I can't handle the truth. It's, I can't handle it. No, it's I can't handle the fact that you don't let me talk. And this is the idea. Right. You started on Fox News and ended up with Tina Peters. An absolute defense in defamation and libel law is truth. If they walk in and show that they have the truth behind the court being behind the election being stolen, they would have won the case. They settled because they couldn't prove it. Fox News never once argued they were telling the truth. Never once argued they were telling the truth.
I'm in the middle of this, and we are going to act a little childish because we have some milkshakes. All right, well, coming up next, thank you guys both. We've got a commercial break. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Well, we got about as close to the line of throwing food that I think we've ever gotten to at one of these.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It was more fun if you were here.
Bill Thorpe. They're both still in the same room. Things have calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, he's over there talking crap about me right now. Because that's how he rolls. Because he's like 12 intellectually.
All right. We're going to get to Francis. We're going to bring it down to Francis with Golden, who's an attorney here. Francis is a regular caller.
Yes.
And you decided to swing by. We're doing a live broadcast at the IHOP here in Lakewood.
Well, you're on the west end of town, and I have to drive out to the office and make some donuts, as it appears, and so I figured I'd swing by for a bit. It's really interesting to see the setup. I get a kick out of it. It's very, very unique.
Well, you're a regular caller. We've had a number of regulars here. You guys are kind of like Cheers in the sense that we know and see you guys when you pop up, and we know what to expect. So, and Bill and I typically divide up. So if Tony calls, I'm going to have the conversation because Tony and I disagree. And if it's Barney, it's typically Billy and Barney that go at it. So, and then it's always nice to see a face with the name and the voice.
Same here. You guys are. I never watch you on the YouTube or anything like that, but you're about the way I figured, which is good. I mean, I had you guys pictured in my mind's eye, and it worked out fine.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll continue this conversation. We'll get into some of the latest topics with Francis, so you're not going to want to miss it. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
It is 9 a.m. in the Mile High City, and we're doing our live broadcast here from the IHOP in Lakewood. This is our final hour. You got some time to come down here and see us and hang out and get a chance to meet Bill and I, and Blake's here as well. Mark Crowley, the whole team is here. We're having a lot of fun, even some spicy debates. That was one of the more spicy ones I think we've ever
Yeah, that
had.
was.
So,
one of the more personal ones, too.
Rich Wyatt was in, and boy, they went right at it. Thank you to both you guys. And let's, we're going to get into the news here in just a second with Blake Olson. He's here live as well. But we always love it when callers, regular callers that we get to talk to, swing by, and we finally get to meet him in person. Francis from Golden, here live in person. Thanks for swinging by, brother.
Well, it's good to see you guys. I go by the moniker Francis because you had too many Franks calling in, and it was becoming confusing.
There was about 4 of them. Frank
Yes,
Frank from Arvada, all that stuff.
Frank Ryan.
Now, last time Joe from Arvada swung by.
Yes.
And that was very cool to meet him. All right, so Francis, they bring out Joe Biden last night. Joe Biden talks all about how Trump's going to possibly take millions of people off of Social Security. Look, Social Security is going to be defunct by 2035, or at least having to reduce its payments by 2035 because it's run out of money. Do you share the concerns that Democrats have with regards to what Trump and Elon Musk are doing to Social Security?
I think that Social Security, I mean, it's time finally to get politicians more focused on it because it's been insolvent or moving towards insolvency for a long time, and there really isn't any good answer for it except nobody wanted to touch it. It was a third rail, and I think that you have to get honest about it. You have to, in some way, make eligibility or entitlement reduced, or make it more means-tested, and or increase the age eligibilities. And at the same time, you're going to have to generate revenue to keep it afloat. So it's not nobody wants to address those two topics because they cut against each other, and everybody has bad feelings about it, but that's just math.
I mean, Joe Biden does this thing where he goes, you put your money into it. You deserve to get out. You put your money into it. And I just go, well, why is there a problem if I put my money into it? Where is my money? That's because they spent it.
It got top-heavy, too. I mean, look, it got top-heavy, and I think that I can't remember. I know it was a few years ago I saw statistical data about this, but your average Social Security beneficiary has got their money out plus interest if they've on Social Security for 10 years. So really, it is your money, but be realistic about what contributions you've done relative to what you're taking out.
Yeah.
And that's, once again, that's just a fact. I mean, it's not as if there's a lockbox here, because there obviously isn't, or else we wouldn't be in this mess.
Yeah, well, Francis, we always appreciate it when you come by, and or actually when you call. It's always a good conversation. First time to actually meet you in person.
It's good to meet you guys.
Brother,
it's really nice to meet you.
What makes this show great, unlike all the other shows, NPR, even some of the other bigger stations, Scott, thanks for coming by, man, is that this is Denver's voice. There's no other show where you get to call in and we get to have a discussion and a debate, whether it's about Tina Peters and Fox or Social Security. This is where that conversation takes place, and that's because of people like you. So, Francis, brother, thank you.
Cool. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, all right. We're going to get to Blake Olson here in a second. Look, the audience loves you, Francis. I want to tell you about another great organization. That's the Colorado Farm Bureau. Do you know where your last meal came from? Sure, it was a restaurant or made it at home with food from the grocery store, but where did it come from before that? Chances are it came from a family farm or ranch right here in Colorado. Hey, I want to talk to you about Colorado agriculture. It's an industry I'm passionate about and it's been a part of Colorado since before we became a state. From family ranches on our eastern plains to local peach farms in the orchards of Palisades, they provide a wholesome and sustainable food production and contribute billions to our economy. And my friends at the Colorado Farm Bureau work hard to represent our agriculture industry. Farm Bureau members have been coming together for 104 years to protect agriculture and help it grow and prosper. You can join them, even if you don't own a farm. Join the Colorado Farm Bureau and help continue this legacy. Support family farms and ranches at coloradofarmbureau.com. That's coloradofarmbureau.com. All right, Blake Olson, It's time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, it's Hump Day. Good morning. Beautiful day out here in Lakewood, at Alameda and Wadsworth at the IHOP, and Bobby, the general manager. Oh my goodness. Thank you, God, for Bobby. Thank you, Lord. He has been just bringing everything, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between, milkshakes, you name it. Come on out here, see Jeff and Billy. 60 and sunny in Denver, expecting a high of 76 today. The 7-10 5-day forecast is coming up. Oh, yeah. Top story, New York AG Letitia James, Big Tish, facing not one but two massive career-ending criminal accusations. Let's go, Jeff and Billy. Billy wants to, too. I know he does. Number one, falsely claiming a Virginia home as a primary residence. That's mortgage fraud. And then secondly, living there while serving as New York Attorney General. More election fraud disqualifies her from serving as Attorney General, you would think. But everything that she did against DJT, man, we should have a party.
It is coming back.
Oh,
it's coming back to bite her.
It is.
Love it. So you're gonna go through that guy's entire financial career with a fine-tooth comb. Don't throw rocks when you live in
problem.
Yeah, right. Enjoy a nice cold afternoon in the county courthouse like Trump had to.
Couldn't happen to a worse person, no doubt. DJT posting this morning that Japan coming in today to negotiate tariffs, the cost of military support and trade tariffs. He says he'll attend the meeting along with Treasury and Commerce secretaries. Hopefully something can be worked out, which what he says is great for Japan and the U.S. 47 also posted a nice message to corrupt Joe Biden after he spoke last night. The globalists just shoved him back on the stage so he could ramble about how bad President Trump is. It was horrible to watch, and I just thank God that we voted for DJT, or the majority of us did. AG Pam Bondi, she just announced that a civil lawsuit against the Department of Education in Maine for allowing men in women's sports, imagine that, violation of Title IX, and it's all about women's personal safety, she says. Absolutely. All right, let's see. We have 59 in Boulder and 58 in Parker and 60 in Denver. And let's see, sports, don't forget the Nuggets tip off the first round of the NBA playoffs coming up this weekend, and the Avalanche, they prepare for the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs versus the Stars. Dodgers beat the Rockies 6-2 final. And Jeff and Billy continue once again from the IHOP in Lakewood on a beautiful day in Colorado. Have a great day. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 5-day forecast still going to be mild today. We'll have daytime sunshine with increasing clouds late afternoon and evening. Highs will be in the mid-70s. May have a small chance for a light shower later today along the foothills. Lows tonight in the upper 40s. Partly cloudy, brisk winds, upper 60s, low 70s Thursday. We're going to get afternoon and evening showers and a few thunderstorms. Rain will change to snow Thursday night and continue through the day Friday. Weather brought to you by Colorado's Best Roofing, reminding you to protect your home from the harsh Colorado weather. Schedule your free no-obligation roof inspection at roofingcolorado.com. Meteorologist Don Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Dude, we got the Cure band here.
Yes, he's here. This is wonderful.
Text us all the time.
Yep, and rocking the T-shirt. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I love that. That is wonderful.
Oh, that's
it's
great.
good to see you.
Thank you for coming by.
Thank you. We'll come say hi in a sec.
We are live at the IHOP here in Lakewood, and it has been a really fun day. I mean, jam-packed. We got friends here. Hi, Melissa. Melissa,
Melissa's here. I didn't see
regular,
her. Oh, this is
is
wonderful.
here. We've got new listeners, too. Joshua's been hanging out.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And, I mean, it's been all morning. People coming, enjoying conversation, but most importantly, good food.
Yeah.
And the guy who set this all up, Mike Boyle, joins us. Good morning, Mike.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. I just got done talking to Bobby Hancock, the director of operations for IHOP, and he said, "We're in. Let's keep it going."
Oh, good.
love it.
So we'll find.
I've got Bobby. Bobby's a rock star. I have got their beef tips right now. This is incredible. This is amazing. Oh my Lord! I think it's the third thing I've eaten this morning.
Yeah, we've been eating like kings.
This is amazing.
There's a sin called gluttony, and it's also
yeah.
a Holy Week, so we're gonna have to spend.
It's okay. I got confession coming up on Friday, so we're good. I got enough wiggle room here. I still got about 72 hours, 48 hours of good stuff. So yeah.
Mike, how'd you set this up with IHOP? This is just great, man.
You know what? I actually stumbled on it, believe it or not, Jeff.
Yeah.
I knew you guys had done one out in Parker at Doug's Diner. And the day of the inauguration, you might recall, I hosted a party at the View House.
Yeah, that was fun.
Sold out, 150 people. It was a ball. Bill, you came by.
Yep.
But it's 6 o'clock in the morning. It's cold,
Yeah.
snowy, icy, and I thought, I'm going to get there early just to make sure that I can get it done. So I get to the View House. There's nobody around. I go 2 doors down to the IHOP. I walk in. There's nobody there. I talk to Brianna, the general manager. I say, Mike Boyle, KNUS, restaurant show, blah, blah. And I said, we do these morning shows. What do you think? And they're quiet. She says, let's get a hold of the district manager.
Oh, wow.
So we call Bobby. We're all on the phone together. I explain, and he says, I'll have an answer for you this afternoon.
Oh, my goodness.
So we put together the one in Centennial. It went so well that obviously we're here, and we've still got Highlands Ranch, and we've still got plenty of other locations.
Well, it went well in one unique capacity. We shot the moon when it comes to media coverage.
Yeah.
Because Channel 9 picked up what happened.
Well, we've got a little something planned for a little later, Jeff, just to see if we can get back on Channel 9.
Oh, good.
That's right. Kyle Clark was talking about the Anytime Tacos and all that fun stuff. And then we heard corporate heard about it, and then maybe we brought a little too much attention.
Yeah,
but maybe there's no such thing as bad publicity. We're going to talk to Bobby here in just a second. But, Mike, what do you got on the show this weekend?
Actually, when I'm doing a studio show on Saturday, but on Sunday for Easter Sunday, very unusual. Typically, I'll record a show. I'm one of the twice-a-year church guys. All right. Guilty as charged. No, but I go on Wednesday to communion service. I'm here today because of you guys.
Oh, thank you.
But at any rate, neither here nor there. I'm doing an all-you-can-eat brunch for $21.95 at India's Restaurant on 8921 East Hampden, across from Kennedy.
Wow.
And he said, I've never been open for Easter. I've never thought about it. I said, let's do this. So hopefully some people are going to come out. First of all, $21.95.
That's a great deal.
And for Indian food, Bill, do you look like somebody who would like Indian food?
Yes,
I love it.
Yeah, I love it. It's something that my kids actually introduced me to. It's something that they found first and have since brought us into, and it is fantastic. Although I've learned that I can only do the little tiny, barely spicy stuff. I can't do the really spicy stuff.
Well, and that's what I think a lot of people's misconception is. Indian food means spice to flavor.
Yes.
And I was at India's yesterday. I had lunch there. And so I think it's going to be a nice little different event. So it'll be a nice way to celebrate Easter.
Yeah, they're
Thanks
fantastic.
for
That'll be really cool. Oh, that'll be good.
Well, Mike, you've brought out a lot of people. You did a great job organizing this. Well done. We have a ton of fun, and this partnership's
great time.
great. So thank you.
Let's do it again.
Let's keep doing it. All right, we're going to bring Bobby here.
Yes, got to bring up Bobby, the rock star of the morning.
The guy who's organizing all this.
And make sure that we're...
This is the rock star.
Yeah.
He's the gentleman.
All right, we got the GM here, too.
Oh, let's talk to him.
All right. So, Bobby, give us your title here with IHOP.
I'm the director of operations.
for like a number of restaurants, right?
Yeah, we have 8 in the
8?
metro area, and then we're going to be opening a new one at the end of this summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, there's restaurants closing a lot in Denver. What's your recipe for opening restaurants?
Training, good food, clean restaurants, and bringing Mike in to help out as well. So.
Yeah, I got to tell you guys, the training is on point. Your people that come here are fantastic, and I've spent a lot of time serving in my life. They know what they're doing. They are really, really talented at what they do. You guys do a great job.
Food is quality too. Look, we know we're going through a moment in this country, a Maha moment, Make America Healthy Again, where Mark, I might need you to slide aside. They're taking pictures of Bobby here. Thanks. So we're in a healthy food movement, right? And it's not eat crackers and starve yourself to death. It's get away from the highly processed stuff. Get to quality ingredients, that type of stuff. Tell us about the food we've been eating all day today.
Oh.
That's quality stuff.
Oh, it is. This broccoli steamed that I've got here on the plate right now. This is fantastic.
So that's our steak chips. That's one of our best sellers and one of my favorites by far.
It's fantastic. This is so good. I've never had this before. It's amazing.
We also do stuff like avocado toast, egg white omelets with avocado. And we got rid of all the high fructose corn syrup and everything that you've been drinking here today.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, trying to, make that food good again as well.
Even a lemonade with a popsicle.
Yeah, what was the inspiration? I got a lemonade with a popsicle in it. What was the inspiration behind that one?
That's one of our new splashes right now.
That is fantastic. It is really neat. It's just fun, and then as the popsicle melts, there's another layer of flavors that comes inside. It's really cool. It's a way to start out with a lemonade, and then it becomes this different fruit drink tailing off at the end. It's really nice. This is a really nice surprise. And again, I can't tell enough. These steak chips are amazing. I was gonna offer some for Jeff, and then I'm like, no, I'm not telling him about it.
Yeah, I mean, that looks cool.
I'm not gonna tell him about that at all.
Well, Bobby, you've got a great team going on. These restaurants are clean. The food is good.
Yeah.
I see smiles all throughout here. Well done, sir. And thanks for including 710K.
Yes, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I just want to give a shout out to Eric Lopez and his team here.
All right, Eric.
Doing great.
Eric, you're up next. We're going to put Eric on.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
you all for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, let's talk to Eric.
All right, Eric, come grab a seat. Again, this is the Jeff and Bill Show live from the IHOP in Lakewood at Belmar, just off of Wadsworth and Alameda. So, Eric, tell us your role with the restaurant chain here.
Hi, guys. Nice to meet you. My role has been the GM of the store.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been in this location for 5 months so far.
Great.
I mean, I was at other locations.
Wow.
With the company, 7 years with the company, going to the 8th. I mean, and it's been awesome. I mean, this location is awesome. Great team.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you guys training and work hard, pay.
Yeah, you're hiring.
Great. Wow, hiring. That's great. This is
good.
a great team. These people, I've been talking to people behind the scenes, and yeah, your team is very happy. You're doing a good job. They love what you're doing. So you've spent, 7, 8 years, you said, with IHOP as manager?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Now, what has kept you with IHOP? Because inside of the restaurant world, it is really easy to jump from company to company to company.
Yes.
When you find someone that is a long-term employee of any restaurant chain, to me that says the chain is doing something right. What is it that you're getting at IHOP? What are the values that you have that feeds your soul? The reason you come back in and you're smiling every time you come into work every morning.
So, I mean, this company, owners are pretty good.
Yeah.
When I started with IHOP, I didn't think was that big of a deal. You see the companies and this and that, but I love my brand by now. I know IHOP is a big brand. We're all over the world, and that's, like you said, when you see good things in the companies, good things with the people you work, we spend more time here sometimes with our families. We spend 8-10 hours here a day.
Yeah, and you see the happiness, you see their struggles, you see everything they go through, and it has to be a team.
Yeah, it has to be a team. And we learned that to bundle and everything. Situations growing pains, of course. And everything. But that's the best decision and the big decision to be part of the IHOP company, the IHOP team.
Now, here's another big decision, okay? It's been a very stressful day. End of the day, you've got that moment to sit down. You can choose anything off the menu. What do you order? What's your go-to on those stressful days?
For lunch,
Yeah.
I will go with the jalapeno kick burger.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Put some onion rings,
Yeah.
extra ranch, and that be all.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. Okay, dinner menu. What's on the dinner menu?
Dinner menu, I go with you with the steak tips.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Mashed potatoes, broccoli, and the garlic bread, and that's amazing. You know, I mean, that's pretty good.
Oh, I have not tried the garlic bread yet.
Nah, you should.
We're gonna do this
You
together.
should. You
This
should.
is-
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh
wow.
I can hear the crunch on that.
Yeah, that is good because it's crispy on the outside, but it's soft on the inside. But you've got the garlic, but it's not overwhelming. But there's a little bit of the butter on the inside of it too. So there's a butter that balances out against the side of the garlic, but it's not overpowering. That's wonderful. That is really good.
No, it is really good. No, I mean, like I said, you know, I see a lot of improvement in the company, quality-wise, you know, training-wise, and like I said, we take care of our job seriously. You know, I mean, I respect food, you know, and I love my guests and seeing happy faces when they leave. You know?
see it. You see it. The restaurant's full. People having a good time,
Yeah.
eating great food, great location as well. Eric, thanks so much for
Thanks,
taking time
guys. Thank
to
you,
join
Eric.
the Jeff
No,
and Bill
so
Show
good.
and
Thanks.
hosting us so well. Has Eric
Yes,
done a
thank
good
you.
job? His team done a good job
Yes.
this week or today? Yeah, they
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, again, Jeff and Bill broadcasting live from the IHOP in Lakewood at Belmar, just off of Wadsworth and Alameda. Swing by. We're going to be here till 10 o'clock. Would love to see you. Take some pictures. You can even debate Billy.
Had a couple of those this morning so far.
Yeah, I've had those. You did great. All right, I want to talk to you about our friends over at Advanced Hair Restoration. For many of us, it's happening. Your hair might be thinning or your crown's disappearing. Maybe hair loss has you feeling your identity's lost altogether. Well, I got good news for you. It's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day. And it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. Look, we've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have. But what if what you want is your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to world-class Dr. Tanya Paul's, it's not maybe your hair will regrow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's why Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver. For your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com. All right. We've got friends in the house. We're going to go to them next. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Bill, it's all, they just
This
keep
is amazing.
coming.
This is incredible.
Oh my gosh, we just got
This
brought
is
dessert,
incredible.
some,
And cold brew coffee. This is really
These are like
good.
donut hole dippers.
Oh yeah, I had those last time. You gotta
Yep.
get into those.
I brought these.
They're like
took these
cinnamon,
home
and
to
yeah,
the
they're
kids.
so soft.
Oh
You can have
my
that if you want.
We got cold brew.
I don't think I can. Would you like it?
Our
Oh yeah,
guests
go ahead,
are-
go
our
ahead.
guests
Yeah, I'm
are-
giving away my milkshake. Yeah, here. There's a straw here too.
Hey, don't discount your ability to bring all the boys
It's
to
a
the
straw.
yard. with that
Yeah, exactly.
milkshake.
Yeah, my milkshake can bring all the boys to the yard.
So we are live at the IHOP here in Lakewood, Colorado at Belmar. We've got about 30 minutes left, so you still got time to swing by and say hi to us if you're here. Just jam-packed, tons of people, lots of friends, regular listeners,
Yeah.
regular callers coming by.
And I think we still have one caller on the air real quickly.
Oh, yeah,
if
let's
we
go
want
to
to
that.
go, William. I believe William's on the phone and wants to talk about Social Security with us. Good morning, William. How are you?
Doing fine. So, I dropped into your call about 9 o'clock, so I didn't miss the last thing that I heard was your guest said something like, well, Social Security is going to run out of money because there's no lockbox.
Yeah, thanks.
But
I
that's
don't,
not true.
the phone was breaking up there. Can you repeat that, William?
The lockbox?
It said that when I came on, the guy said there last, he said, Social Security is going to run out of money because there's no lockbox.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I
that's
think
just
they,
not
yeah.
true.
Yeah, I
That's just
agree.
not
Yeah,
the way it
it's
is.
not true. Yeah, there is a lockbox, but we rate it, and it's also, but what we have to pay out now is less than what we've been taking in as well, and they've rated the account per se. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there's IOUs.
No,
in there.
I disagree. They have not rated anything.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah. Explain that then.
Okay, so here we go. So if you and I are running a pension plan and we get $1,000 we're going to owe money from in 40 years, what will we do? What should we do with that money?
Oh, you'd invest it, hopefully, is the idea.
Okay, well, that's what they do. And the only difference is they invested in the safest security on earth, that is U.S. Treasuries. So all of Social Security money is invested in U.S. Treasuries.
But then why does it go insolvent?
Because they promise too many benefits.
Yeah, so the amount to have to pay out is less than what they've taken in. What would be your
This
solution
idea
for it, William?
that the money's been raided, or the money's been taken out, or that they violated the lockbox is just an incorrect way of thinking about it.
Okay.
Now, you could make
That's
a
fair.
case that Social Security should have been invested in the S&P 500 or NVIDIA stock or Tesla, but the selection of the safest is probably a pretty wise one. Also has relatively little political ramifications because you're not investing in this company.
Yeah, that's fair, William. Now, what would be your solution? What would be your solution? Would you look at raising payroll taxes? Would you look at raising retirement rate? What would you do? What would be your suggestion if we gave you that audience with the king?
Are we still there?
Yeah, I got you, William.
So here's the thing. It is possible to understand a problem without having a solution, and I might fall into that camp. Okay. So, but I think there's lots of proposed solutions out there, but nobody does it. But here's the other thing. The reason I called is just recently I looked up the financial report of the U.S. government, which is published in the spring following the fiscal year that ends at September 30th. So do you want to take a stab at how much underfunded Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid is? Do you want to take a stab at that?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no, I'd love to know, though.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
$78.3 trillion.
Wow.
And again,
Yeah,
you
it got
can-
real
you can say
got
the
real
guy called
quiet
up on
in
the
there
radio.
all of a sudden.
You can say that the guy called up on the radio said that, but you can go and you can Google U.S. government financial reports around page 170 something like that, and they will give you the whole layout about the actuarial look at Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. It's 78 trillion. That's 78,000 billion.
Yeah, that's more than I think we have.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
Wow, William, I really
Well,
appreciate
Mark,
the
pick us up
call.
on another
Thanks
day.
for
Thank you.
correcting
Yeah.
the record on
We've got
that
some time. We
and
gotta
give
get
us
more on
some
this.
insight. That was very helpful. I'll have to go check that out. That's,
Yeah, he's got- make some good
brings
points.
that up.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys know I'm a radio host, but I come from a radio family. And what I've always found really, really cool is I get to work with Peter Boyles.
Yes.
Okay? All right. My dad worked with Peter Boyles in radio.
That is crazy.
Right?
That
It's
is really
multi.
crazy.
There's not
Yes.
too often that a guy is multi-generational in any type of field, right?
Yeah,
Where
you
my
barely get
kids, my kids will work with Peter Boyles because he just keeps going. He's
Yeah,
quite
I know.
remarkable.
I'm sure Dad was never like, yeah, I know what my kid's going to be doing. Someday.
Yeah, right. In fact, it was kind of the opposite. He's like, wow, I'm still surprised Pete's going.
Yeah.
Because he saw Pete in those early days, and Pete's talked about it. But yeah, my dad has swung by to join us this morning. Jim Hunt.
Morning, guys.
Folks,
Good morning.
Formerly Jimmy. Yeah, you got a applause. Now he was most recently Jimmy Rock
right.
on 93.7. You've been your entire career has been in radio in some capacity, right?
Yeah, since 1972, went to CU and then graduated and got my first job in Sterling, Colorado, as a news director at a country station. Got fired after about 3 months for questioning Porter Wagner's sexuality. Apparently that didn't go over very well at a country station.
Sterling.
I said he's a queer duck, and they said, hey, nice having you around. There's the interstate.
So you were the Bill of the Jeff and Bill show.
That's
huh?
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. I was the troublemaker.
Yes,
And then tell us about Pete. How you connected with Pete?
Well, as a matter of fact, I just saw Pete behind the building here eating a discarded waffle. and I swear he was trying to squeegee my car at the intersection here. So he's fallen upon hard times. But, yeah, we go way back. In fact, I think we met Peter at KLIK. It was a country station, 1600 AM, back in 1976.
Yeah.
And my partner and I, Woody Vincent, were doing a weekend show.
Yeah.
We had an ad agency as well, and on weekends we did a quote comedy show on KLIK. And Bob Lee and Peter Boyles were the morning team.
Yeah.
And that's where we met Peter.
And then you produced Pete.
Yeah, I produced Pete for about 6.5, 7 years. Yeah,
Jeez.
the time that we've got together. Yeah,
Yeah.
over the two,
He
like
is,
two different tours.
what
Yeah.
are those biblical figures that lived for 500
Yes,
years.
yes, exactly.
Those Peter Boyles. Now, what was Pete like back in those early days?
He was a drunk.
Yeah.
He drank a lot, and he will admit it. He was.
Yeah.
He had a drinking problem, and I think the guys dabbled in a little drugs too. But they were just fun guys, just fun guys.
Yeah.
They would do the morning show, which was 6 to 10, like you guys do, but they actually opened a bar in Aurora. And it was called Bob and Pete's, and that was so that they could drink all the way from like midnight till 5 a.m. and come into the studio and not have to go home. So they would actually drink at their own bar and then show up at the station.
Bill, what do you think?
That sounds like Pete.
good. Well, I mean, do you think we should?
Yeah, you guys
No.
Jeff and Bill's.
No.
And then look, they're willing to join us. Josh is we'll just drink all night and then do the show. It would make interviewing politicians really more interesting.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, and they had a great show. I mean, it's a very weak signal. It was an AM station, and I don't know what it was watt-wise, but they competed very well with Hal Moore and Charlie Martin on KHOW.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Bob and Pete were like number 3 in the market on this very, very weak signal station. But they were hilarious.
You know what's interesting about Pete is he took a step away and then came back. It's so into his DNA to do radio. Same thing with you,
Yeah.
and I think same thing with you.
Yeah.
That you'll do it to the day you die just because you love it. Tell me about that.
Yeah. What, me? Actually, I stepped away a lot. And
But you keep coming back.
Well, yeah. After a while, I'll be on the air for a while, and I'll get tired of hearing myself talk, and so I'll do something else. But yeah, I started out in radio, and then started an ad agency along with Woody Vincent. We did all the ads for many years for what started out as Pillow Kingdom, and then Big Sur Waterbeds, and then what's now the Furniture Row Companies. And we did that for 25 or 26 years. And then kind of decided to move on to some other things. But while we were doing that, your mom and I decided we were going to buy a radio station in Sherman, Texas. And so we did that and lost our shirt for a long time and figured out how to sell it to a bigger sucker. It's kind of the flip. Yeah, flipped it. We flipped it.
Yeah.
Actually, we found a way to move it into Dallas and make it a Dallas station, which made it worth a lot more money, and we got out. So for a while, we just did that. We flipped radio stations.
Tell us about where radio is now. You've had that career since the 70s. Is it as powerful as it is? Is it still unique compared to other forms? Especially, how are younger generations looking at radio?
I don't think most younger people listen to radio as we know it. It's been consolidated, Bill knows, by the iHearts of the world. When we first had our first station in 1992 in Sherman, Texas, when you were on the air broadcasting, you had to have a morning guy and a midday guy and an afternoon drive guy and an evening guy and an overnight guy. So it's like 6 disc jockeys, then some weekend guys.
Yeah.
So you probably had 8 or more disc jockeys and news guys and whatever. Now, a radio station might have nobody, Bill.
Yep, nobody at all. Yeah, or just one person. They'll have either morning or afternoon. That's it.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing that I always found surprising was we lean into the idea of competition helping craft the marketplace, yet the consolidation inside of radio was exactly against that. It was 180 degrees away from competition. And back when radio, 30 years ago, you had radio stations that would be giving away cars, and now you get to text for a national contest to win $1,000.
Right.
Yay.
Right,
Yay.
and it's a national
That's
contest,
great.
and that's the difference.
That's the thing.
And a lot of local people listening don't understand. They think, geez, my local station is giving away. But no, you're competing against everybody across the country.
And the thing with the way it's executed is that is all built on a time in which the break has to hit. So if another radio station across the country hits the break sooner, their listeners get in on the text message before you can. So by the time you hear the keyword, it may already be over. You may have zero chance at all, so you may be wasting your time because you're not really texting the radio station.
Now, I want to ask both of you guys this. It's often said that radio is the most intimate of the mediums. Maybe not quite as intimate as OnlyFans. That's another level of intimacy I don't want to get to, Bill.
No.
But if you watch videos online and you want to engage in a conversation, you go to the comment section and you type a little comment. If you watch Kyle Clark on Channel 9, he's not going to respond to anything you do. But with this show, you can actually call in and debate an issue.
Yeah. That's
where else does that happen?
It doesn't happen in media, and that's the thing. That's what I think that there's way too many radio shows and radio stations out there that are getting away from the intimacy of the medium. It is the one true medium in which you have the ability to contact that host you hear. And it's whether it's a DJ, talk radio host, a guy reading the news, whatever it is, you have a direct line of communication to them, and you can directly impact what goes on over the air. You don't have that kind of control anywhere else. You send a letter to the editor of the Denver Post, they don't have to publish anything. Kyle Clark's not going to read your email. They don't care. You can't show up at Channel 9 and say, hey, I want to have 2 minutes here to talk to you about how you're dealing with covering this story. William called us earlier and said, hey, when we were talking about Social Security, you guys missed this and this and this.
Yeah.
You can't do that. But radio is leaning away from that. It's getting more into the podcasting realm. Radio keeps, to their detriment in my mind, radio keeps asking, how do we compete with podcasting, rather than forcing podcasting to compete with radio, where radio can succeed better. The intimacy and the immediacy of radio is far better than podcasting, but radio is chasing podcasting because it's the new shiny thing.
And voice tracking has ruined radio as well.
And I voice track probably 35 hours a week.
Right.
Yes.
And for people
on FM. Yep.
For people that don't know, voice tracking is when you can record your show ahead of time. And it sounds like you're right there. You go into the computer program and you listen to the outgoing music and the incoming music, and you do your little bit. You record it and you hit save, and you could be voice tracking on dozens or more stations. And
I'm on over 100 stations.
Right.
Yeah, over the course of the week.
And you're not live.
Nope, not live.
You're not live.
I'm within 45 minutes of being live most of the time, but that's still not live.
There's 100 Rich Wyatts out all over the country screaming at their radios.
Yeah.
So, question for you guys: you worked with Pete. You worked with me. I've worked with Pete. Does Pete outlive all of us?
Yeah, he's like
you
Keith
think
Richards.
he reaches 100?
He's like Keith
still
Richards.
on the
He's
radio.
just going to keep going. It just doesn't matter. Yeah, he will. He absolutely will.
Our grandkids will be working.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, both of our kids will work with Pete Boyles. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, that'll happen. That will happen.
We love you, Pete. By the way,
he's a
his
legend.
show's on Saturdays, and I think we typically get him in, tomorrow to preview a show. So
we should see him tomorrow.
We'll see if Pete's on the air tomorrow. But
ask him to play the Ballad of Bob and Peter that Woody and I It was
remind me of
a
that.
45 RPM record. It was in the style of Lauren Green, Ringo, and it was about the Bob and Peter show.
Oh, wow. That's great.
It's the ballad of Bob and Peter, and it was really well done.
Now, the funny thing in our family was I didn't think I was getting into radio. I watched you and Mom do it, and then both my brothers did it, and I went into the politics route. So I went and worked on political campaigns, worked in Washington, D.C., got a seminary degree. I always appreciated radio, but I didn't think it was in my future. And then lo and behold, Kelly Michaels and the rest of them, and I ended up. So every single one of our family members has worked in radio.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny because my brother and my sister-in-law also in radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a family
in the blood.
thing.
It's a family thing. Well, Pops, thanks for swinging by.
Yes, thank you.
It was good to see you, and glad to have you here. And we'll continue. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Well, Bill, what a day. We fed a state senator.
Yes,
you and
we
Rich
did.
Wyatt got close to a food fight.
Yeah, that was interesting. And actually I had a debate with a pastor today. It was good.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Then we had a pastor.
Met some
It was a
people.
classic Jeff and Bill show.
Yes, it was.
We ate well. We hung out with people that are actually making a difference in the world, and then we debated things.
Yeah, and I make people mad. Yeah, pretty much it. That's pretty much the show.
The notorious Bill Thorpe.
That was fun. And that was neat meeting your dad, too. I'd never met him personally before.
Yeah, big
that is
radio
really cool.
family.
Mm-hmm.
My parents even have like license plates that are radio geared.
Really?
Which is funny because I always thought I was like, oh, it's just
Yeah.
I'm into the political world. It's just not. But
Yeah.
I found my way to radio through politics.
Yes, you did.
Just not through rock music like everybody else says.
Yeah, not like everybody else.
Yeah.
This has been fantastic. This has been really wonderful. Really appreciate everybody showing up here and joining us. Oh, we got to do this again. This has been so much fun. I've eaten so much food.
We appreciate it, and I think we gave Kyle Clark something to talk about with you and Rich White. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll see if he picks that one up. Yeah, we'll see if he picks that up.
Well, tomorrow we're going to be back live in studio, and Bill, I haven't even told you this yet, but
what?
Ken Cuccinelli is joining us.
Oh,
We're going to
cool.
talk election
Nice.
integrity. He's helping the president on some of these efforts at the
All right.
national level.
Excellent.
So we're going to bring in some, kind of big name guests
Good.
starting tomorrow.
That'd
Oh,
be
and
nice.
then I forgot this too. You remember Gary Barf from CPAC?
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah.
running for president.
No.
That guy? You remember the guy?
Yeah.
You debated him.
Yes,
And he loved it so
Yeah,
much.
who was the president
He's
guy?
been begging to come back. And
Oh, that'll be great.
tomorrow
All
he's
right.
going to be back on because
Cool.
he specifically wants to take on Bill
Excellent. That'll be fun. Oh, I can't wait to talk to him again. That'll be fun. Good.
Yeah, like people listen to the show like with you and Rich and are like, all right, I want my shot.
Yeah, let's do
All right,
this.
I want my shot. All right, it's my turn.
Yeah.
It's like they all want to see if they
Yep.
can ride you're
Yeah.
like the bull.
The thing is that as long as we deal with it intellectually, cool. That's it.
Yeah.
Is that it's not going to be personal. Is you can't make it personal, and yet someone did today, and that's where I draw the line. Is if we're going to make it personal, then okay, fine. Then the rules are off. Then we don't have to treat each other with understanding, compassion, or that we need to leave your microphone on all the time. No, because if we're going to call names and we're going to do that, I've had that since like third grade. So if we're going to do that way, fine. Then I'll play like we're third grade. But don't tell me that I'm childish when you start off making insults. It's So we'll see. I'm looking forward to Gary. Gary was a lot of fun. Ken will be fun. That'll be fun based on election integrity because it is something that I haven't heard the Trump administration talk about a lot now that they've been back in office.
Yeah.
Not a thrust
So
of things
I
because
think he's helping the president out with that. So.
and I'd be curious if he can find where is the fraud, because they have access to all that information. They have the DOJ. They have all the files. They would, in theory, have all the files from all of the conspirators. Okay, let's go for this. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Let's find out. I'm excited. Let's see what he's got.
So Ken Cuccinelli joining us tomorrow, and then Gary Barv running for president. He and Billy got into a spicy debate as well, and he's been begging to
That's fun.
get back on.
Oh, that'll
and
be
to
fun.
get a second shot at you. So you're like the bull at the rodeo.
That's okay.
Some people get bucked off of 2 seconds. Others make it all 8 seconds.
Yes, they
but
do.
That's
we
what
always have
love
fun.
About you.
Yep.
Well, thank you to everybody
Yes,
for coming
thanks to
and
everybody
being a
coming
part
out
of
here.
our live broadcast here. Tomorrow
Yes,
we'll be
thank
back
you.
in studio, but you've been listening to the Jeff and Bill Show live from the IHOP in Lakewood.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.